It's not that I don't put stock in what the coach says, not just our coach, but any coach. It's not that I don't put stock in what they say right after the game. It's just that it all happens so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, within 15 or 20 minutes of the game ending, the head coach is facing the firing squad. These guys have had 3 or 4 hours to think up their questions. I mean, they have. And
stewing, reading, social media, fans
media,
reacting, sitting back.
Exactly.
Not in the middle of it. Not in the middle of it at all.
No. And so then, the coach, as he's being moved, I just kind of tell you how it happens. He goes and speaks to the team. He immediately from there goes to talk to the media. And when he's done there, he comes and tapes the TV show, grabs a shower, and then the bus rolls about an hour after the end of the game. So my point is that while all the people that are asking the questions have had most of the afternoon to come up with them, he's being moved from place to place, just trying to figure out exactly what he's going to say. So Monday, that's a long way of saying Monday's the day when I enjoy hearing what they have to say. And I know we got a lot of stuff.
Football, Chuck, is so much about film. You got 11 guys on the field at one time, and you can't see it all live. I mean, I marvel at coaches like Petrino who call offensive plays from the sideline, and they've just been doing it, their entire career. And some guys just love it down there. But you can see something live. As a trained eye, you can see something live and go back and watch it on film, and it might be a little different. And so it is interesting because they're asked to go try to give explanations after the game, and some of that's fine. But after they've had a chance to review the film, you get a little bit more insight. DJ Williams, former Razorback tight end, I saw a film review from him yesterday, I think on YouTube. And there were a lot of breakdowns in the game that most of us wouldn't see offensively, which to me was a positive because they did as well as they did with 600 plus yards and Talon having another real big stat game. But there's so many improvements they can make. And I think that's what we get from a Monday reflection from Sam Pittman. Let's listen in to sort of his thoughts on overall what happened in the game. Got that, Bart? All right, here we go.
We respect Oklahoma State. They really didn't stop us a whole lot. We kind of stopped ourselves, and I think they've got a really good team. But we inflicted our own wounds with 3 turnovers, and we got a turnover. But it was not. I'm not going to say it was insignificant because it certainly was. It got us back the ball, but it was right there. They were throwing it up right before the half. So we left a lot of points out there, and so we've got to figure out how to finish drive. Now, with that said, 638 yards offense and all that, we just have to find a way to finish drives and not have those critical problems. I think we've got a really good team. I love this team. I think they played extremely hard. We just made some mistakes that cost us the game.
So one of the things that doesn't sound like there's a whole lot there, but one of the things that Pittman reemphasized yesterday, Chuck, I don't think this team has lost any confidence in who they are. I don't think he's lost any confidence in who they are. And to me, that's significant because the feeling of a team is part of what momentum comes from. It's part of what motivation comes from. Our feelings, our emotions impact our behavior. There's no way of getting around that. Now, you may have to act your way through something when you're in a bad mood to try to be in a good mood, but it still impacts you. And Chuck, you were around the team after the game. I'm sure they were really disappointed, but I feel like this team, if anything, regardless of how fans feel today, they still feel pretty good about who they are, and they feel like they know who they are.
I think for fans, I'll just start there. I think for fans, a lot of the disappointment right now is, oh no, here we go again. But as we've discussed before, in this day and age in college sports, every team is new. Every team is new. So to say that what's happened in past seasons affects this team, I don't see that. And to answer your question, yes, I think they're confident. I think when you've got a great quarterback, it gives you confidence as a team. It gives you the feeling that we got a chance to win every game. Now, I don't think Talon Green's perfect, but I think he's confident, and I think the team feeds off that. I think Bobby Petrino's confident. I think the offense feeds off that. I think Travis Williams is confident, and I think the defense feeds off that. So no, I don't see. Now look, if this happens again and again and again, confidence erodes. There's no doubt about it. But right now, I don't see any. I don't see any semblance at all of confidence being lost.
It's week to week. It's season to season. And there's so many places I want to go with this conversation. We got into it a little bit yesterday. I don't really mean to tell people how to feel. I hope to give, and I know you do, a perspective that maybe helps you think about it completely and not just partially. And we get perspectives from listeners and other media members and whatever that helps us think about it completely. But this is still a new team. And I thought that was another point that Pittman sort of zeroed in on yesterday.
Bobby said it probably the best those guys know about their team. They've got 18 guys that's been back, and he said, we're still learning about ours, as we're sitting there talking about it. I thought about it. It makes a lot of sense. You're asking, there's a lot of new guys, Jaquindon, and just a lot, or O-line. And so we're learning a little bit about each one of them. But Taylor, I think going into that environment, I wish we had like one more game before we went and played Oklahoma State, to be perfectly honest with you. The first one, we really didn't get tested at all. I think we'd have learned a little bit more, maybe been able. But I think Taylor, what you think about him, he's really a good player, can make things happen that maybe not are there, throws the ball well. I think he also got tired, and it might have showed on some of the throws there later and trying to get away from pressure that he might have earlier thrown that ball away. But he's a fantastic player. I wouldn't trade him for anybody out there that somebody wants to trade. I'm not trading.
we have free agency and trade. How far away are we from trades mid-season?
When's the trade deadline
in college football? He said something there about Taylor getting tired. And I think sometimes the first reaction is, well, they got to be in shape. They got to be ready to go before the season starts. But sometimes you can't simulate, especially with a quarterback. I mean, you're not trying to beat someone down. If you've ever run a marathon, you don't run the actual marathon before you get to the event. You might run 20 or 22 miles. You don't run 26.2 as you're preparing for the actual event in most cases. So you get about as ready as you can because you want to be rested and ready to go. Jordan Mason last night filled in for Christian McCaffrey, the Niners running back. And by the way, if you missed the game, I'm sure you've been up all night wondering about it. 32-19, the Niners beat the Jets and Aaron Rodgers, and what felt like for a drive or two there that it was going to be, a new Jets team, and maybe it will be this year. But like every fan base is dealing with this right now. What kind of team do we have? What do we learn from one game? What do we learn for the next game? But Jordan Mason said last night, I don't know how. I told Christian McCaffrey after the game, I don't know how he does it. And what he meant was, I carried the ball 28 times, a career high for me. I had 147 yards. I had a great game, but I can't hardly stand up right now. I just haven't been through this before. And some of that is, Pittman saying, hey, I wish we had one more game before we went into this, because you kind of grow into that. And I would just say, Chuck, to me, that's super disappointing that they lost the game. But I look at this as there's so many more reasons to continue to feel positive, if I'm a Razorback fan, about my team. You look at other teams across the country right now. I don't know what it's like to be a Notre Dame fan. I don't know what it's like to be a Florida State fan, because those teams went into the season, and this is part of the problem we have with the playoffs. They went into the season, it was playoff or bust. And right now it's completely bust, and they've got 10 or 11 games left each. What do you do as a fan with that? Are you going to take it game to game and try to enjoy the game and the hope for what it is that game? Or are you just done? You're your whole college football experience is ruined for the year. I mean, that's your choice as a fan. How are you going to approach it? But for Arkansas, I think there's a lot of upside here. And we'll get to see it play out. I'm not predicting they're going to win 10 games, but I think they're going to win more than a lot of people thought going into the season.
Everybody wants to determine the worth of the season as quickly as they can. They want to be able to be the one that makes the pronouncement, early in the year and say, I told you so, when it gets to the end of the year. And there's a tendency on the part of all sports fans to do that. And we especially do it with the teams that we follow the most. Arkansas lost a game they could have won, a game they should have won. They'll play a game in 2 weeks that I think will be very similar to that. We'll see if they've learned something. I mean, to me, that's a ball game right now that you look at that game, you look at the Texas A&M game, what you hope, and I don't know that it'll be this way, but I think it might. You hope that you take what happened in Stillwater and you make sure that it doesn't happen again. Here's the thing about Green. Here's the thing that I think we'll find out again more when they play at Auburn. When you talk about a guy being tired, there's mental fatigue that comes into play. You got to remember, too, the guy played in the Mountain West last year. I'm not knocking the Mountain West. It's a good football conference. I'll bet he got hit a little bit harder in that ball game Saturday than he did in some of those others. And I'll bet the guys that are chasing him in 2 weeks are bigger and faster than anybody he's ever played. So there is an adjustment there. But here's the thing I like about him. And here's the thing that I think will be the reason the offense continues to score points. He's a competitor. I mean, some guys compete in a different way than others do. The thing that I've seen from him in the first 2 ball games is that this guy competes. And that gives you a chance because there are going to be some wild games. There are going to be some games that are shootouts. There are going to be games where 1 or 2 short yardage plays make the difference. And I like my chances with that guy. I think he's pretty good.
Not trading him. 877-377-6963. It's Tuesday. We're still reacting to what we saw on Saturday. What is it? What kind of feeling does it give you when you take a step back? That's another thing. Not coaches take a step back. They watch the film. They have more of a reflection and that kind of a response on a Monday. We get to a Tuesday. Fans still emotional. I mean, you're emotional in the moment. Sports are emotional. That's part of the fun. It's the ups and the downs, the excitement, the hope, the disappointment that you hope you can flip around to something better. Now that it's Tuesday and you've had a chance to reflect, do you feel any differently about your team as you try to put it in perspective, maybe consume what else is happening around the country as well? We'll continue reacting here on the Chuck and Bo Show, 877-377-6963. You can text or call. Don't forget to listen on the Hit That Line app. You can take it anywhere with you. So if you don't know what station to pick it up, you're traveling, whatever, the Hit That Line Now app can take the Chuck and Bo Show anywhere you want to hear it. It is 6:16. Good morning.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
There's a lot of lions, tigers, and bears, but there ain't but one razorback. Number one.
Ty Story, high school football coach and former college quarterback.
I love coaching, but it's a lot more fun after LASIK. Now when I'm coaching, I can focus on my players and not my eyes. After LASIK, my eyes are even better than before when I had glasses or wore contacts. The McDonald Eye Team was great. They put me at ease. I couldn't believe how well I was seeing the day after surgery. Good vision and good football go together. I'm really glad I trusted my eyes to McDonald Eye Associates.
See your best with safe and affordable LASIK from McDonald Eye Associates. Register for your free consultation at mcdonaldeye.com.
When it comes to finding the perfect diamond, there's one name that stands above the rest in Northwest Arkansas. Blakeman's Fine Jewelry. As the region's premier experts for diamonds, Blakeman's offers an unparalleled selection of brilliant stones, handpicked for their quality and beauty. They don't just help you find the perfect stone, they educate you on every step of the way. Whether you're planning a proposal, celebrating an anniversary, or simply treating yourself, Blakeman's is where your search ends and your story begins.
What's your Oaklawn? Is it hitting the slots for fun and high fives? Or having a round at Silk's Bar and Grill before the action? Play your way at Oaklawn's 24/7 non-smoking casino. With 1,500 slot machines, live roulette, craps, and blackjack, a sports book where you can watch and wager on your favorite games and live entertainment at Pop's Lounge, you'll never run out of fun. It's time for more winning and more excitement at Oaklawn. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
Who's ready for some Arkansas Razorback football? Experience football game days on the Hill as the Hogs return to action for the Fayetteville home opener, Saturday, September 14th, 3:15 p.m. against UAB. Tickets are available online at arkansasrazorbacks.com or by calling the Hogs at 800-982-HOGS.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey, I'm Taylor Green, Arkansas QB, and these two guys definitely have a face for radio.
This is Daryl Johnston with Hashtag Managed IT Services. We are excited to now be part of AAA Business Systems. Hashtag will continue to handle every IT need your business will have, and now, as part of AAA Business Systems, we can handle all of your document printing and storage solutions. Together, we have the expertise to meet all of your office technology needs. Find us online at aaabm.com or call us at 471-1771.
When you need tough and paint just isn't enough, check out River City Coatings in Van Buren. When it comes to your metals, paint can peel and crack over time. Whether it's your patio furniture, rims or trims on your automobile, or heavy equipment, no one has time for a redo. Powder coating provides the toughness you need. Preserve your investment with powder coating from River City Coatings. River City Coatings, certified John Deere, Caterpillar, ISO 9001, Packer, and
Most
UL
important thing,
provider
obviously,
of
is
tough.
that
River City Coatings, 471-7675 or online at rivercitycoatings.com.
Hey, it's Ty Richardson, and we're inside of Lily's Sandwich Shop in the Bakery District in downtown Fort Smith. I'm with my guy, Josefa. Today, it was the French toast turkey melt, but other daily specials every single day.
Yeah, Ty, we just kind of want everybody to know that we're not just sandwiches around here. We have all kinds of different specials. There's always something different right here at Lily's Sandwich Shop.
Award-winning Lily's Sandwich Shop in the Bakery District in downtown Fort Smith. Don't believe me? Talk to Lily.
My name is Lily. My papa makes the best sandwiches at Lily's Sandwich Shop. Come by and see him at the Bakery District today.
Did you know that almost 80% of all advertising is spent on digital? This is Dale Daniels, Digital Sales Manager for ESPN Arkansas. And due to the growth in digital advertising, we have the opportunity for the right person to join our team. Digital and radio advertising go hand in hand, and we're looking for someone to help businesses grow with this powerful combination. If you have experience in broadcast and digital marketing or business development, we want to hear from you. Email your resume to sales@hitthatline.com. Pearson Broadcasting is an equal opportunity employer.
You're listening to The Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
I got it.
You're listening to The Chuck and Bo Show. Back to Save Sports Radio.
We're brought to you in part by First Security Bank, Pasco Air Plumbing and Electric, Fayetteville Auto Park, Flight by Yingling, and Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company, turning homes into houses since 1978. 877-377-6963. Another beautiful fall-type morning. It's just a crisp, cool, feel-good kind of temperature when you walk outside. How do you feel about Arkansas at quarterback after watching two games? How do you feel? I want to play a clip for you. Bill Belichick on Sirius XM NFL radio talking about Dak Prescott and the Cowboys and what it's like paying this kind of money to what you'll call franchise quarterbacks. And Dak's getting $231 million over 4 years guaranteed. The contract's worth $240 overall. So all but $9 million of it is guaranteed. Does anybody just want the $9 million to hang on to just in case?
I'd take it.
Yeah, we'll just put that in escrow and we'll hang on to it in case things don't work out. But $231 guaranteed. Here's Bill Belichick.
Most important thing, obviously, is that you put the money into the right guy and that it's a good decision. Sure, the money's a lot, but if the player is a really good player, then that's not really that big of a conversation. I think when you end up in a situation like Denver did with Russell Wilson, and you're looking at that type of salary cap hit without the player, that's a big hurdle to get over.
And right now, Cleveland's looking at that with Deshaun Watson. We don't know exactly where that's going to go. Certainly not giving up on him as a player, but that
yes,
was problematic for the moment.
Yes,
it does. I think Cleveland, has a situation there. The Giants with Daniel Jones, maybe a similar situation, and even some of the younger players that have signed big contracts. We'll see how well they do or don't do. So to have a good team, you need a good quarterback. But say when you spend that kind of money, you just got to be careful.
But for the record, I think almost everyone's given up on Deshaun Watson. But all of those guys that Belichick mentioned have at points had good careers, and it can change. Just like any performance can change. I mean, what do we say? It's what have you done for me lately? Not what you did last year. And now Arkansas has a quarterback in Taylor Green that I want to know how you feel about. I mean, I think Chuck and I have said this guy gives you a chance, gives the team confidence. We got a texter, Chuck, saying, the guy named himself Goonie. Okay, we'll start with that. If KJ would have been in this offense with the offensive line this year, we would have won that game. If Green would have been on the team last year with that terrible offensive line, he wouldn't have done squat. KJ is much better than Green. Look, I don't want to turn this into KJ Jefferson's not good, Green is. I think KJ Jefferson did some really good things. I think Kendall Briles did some really good things with KJ Jefferson. Here's what I would tell you the difference is, Chuck, just my opinion. Taylon Green's taller. He can see the field better. He's got a great arm, and he can stretch the field with his legs as well as his arm. KJ was not necessarily a guy that was going to run on the edge like we saw Taylon do a couple of times in that game. To me, that makes him more of a threat. Just my thoughts.
Well, there's certainly something to be said for that. I think KJ's a great player. And he provided us with a lot of great moments. And it was time for him to go, I think. And I think he'll do well before the season's over down in UCF. Here's one of the big differences, though. We've talked about it, and I'll continue to come back to this, I promise. The nature of the game now with the changing rosters and the fact that lots of teams every year start the season with a new quarterback. Green came in right away and established himself as the leader of the team. I think these players want to win for him. I don't know that KJ's teammates always wanted to win for him. I think they'll play for Taylon Green. I don't know that they always played for KJ. Now, is KJ bigger? Can KJ do this that Taylon can't? Sure, you can talk about a lot of that stuff. But I think there's so much more to a great quarterback than the measurables. That's where we start. But those other 10 guys in that huddle have to believe that you're going to lead them to the promised land. And they've got to want to do it for you. And if they don't, you're not going to score. I can promise you that.
Yeah. I think this chemistry that we're seeing this year is different. Whether it's just the quarterback or a lot of other things. Again, in the offseason, Arkansas made moves, and I, for the life of me, don't understand anyone who is saying that it wasn't for the better. And again, that's not KJ versus Taylon. That's overall.
Well,
they went out and made improvements. They got better.
The offensive coordinator and the quarterback are a team. They're a tandem. Kendall Briles and KJ Jefferson were a very good tandem. Dan Enos and KJ Jefferson, bad tandem. Bobby Petrino, Taylon Green, I think they're a good tandem. I think Bobby Petrino will get the best out of Taylon Green. Kendall Briles may have gotten the best out of KJ. I don't know. There may not be anything better than what he was able to produce under Kendall Briles. Now, I think Gus is pretty good, so I think he'll have some success down there. But they're a team, and I like Arkansas's tandem right now with the offensive coordinator and the quarterback.
Yeah, it's well said. Much better fit, Gus and KJ, than obviously KJ and Enos, and a much better combination with Taylon and Bobby Petrino. And you know what? There's a lot to be said for that in sports. I mean, you see it all the time about, a player not have success one place, go somewhere else. It's a fit situation. It's that way with head coaches, especially in college football. And it's that way with players being put into situations. I mean, it's amazing how often we see players put in positions. And I thought KJ was put in that position last year that they're not going to succeed in. Like you're not putting them in their best spot. What were you going to say, Bart?
I was just Bo Nix is a perfect example of this, right?
Yeah, that's great example.
was okay at Auburn, fine, I guess. He goes to Oregon and he's a Heisman Trophy finalist.
By the way, just as an aside, because I was thinking Sean Payton and Bo Nix, with Bo Nix being at Denver now, and I think Sean Payton's a great quarterback coach. What happened with Sean Payton and Russell Wilson? I mean, that was like, you talk about a bad marriage.
Well, Russ is cooked too. Like he's completely cooked.
That's a new term now, Chuck. I don't know if you knew that. Cooked is the new is the new thing.
He's
Like, when you
washed.
get roasted.
He's washed up.
Cooked.
Well, that's because everybody watched Aaron Rodgers last night. You know, I was thinking a minute ago when you were playing the Belichick cut about, you know, just how you roll the dice when you invest all this money in quarterbacks. I mean, you look at Cleveland now; they're stuck. I mean, they're going to do anything in their power to avoid Deshaun Watson's contract, anything. And you look at some of the other franchises that give all these young quarterbacks this guaranteed money, and then they're stuck. And then the flip side to that is they pay these guys exorbitant sums, like Wilson and Rodgers, when it's over. And anybody can see that it's over. They were great. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, there was a time, man, if you had to score some points to win a ball game, I'm not sure there's another quarterback on earth that you'd want on your side. But they've got so much money tied up in these guys. And not only are the players cooked, if you want to use that term, sometimes the teams are cooked because of what they've got invested in players that just aren't producing.
Well, from my seat, I think Arkansas got it right at quarterback in the offseason.
I think so, too.
At least 2 games in. That's what I would say. And I think when you watch Talon play, you get excited. We'll talk more about it. And Eddie from Clarksville is on deck. And I'm sure he's ready to bring the heat. Everybody get their pens ready. We'll figure out what the lyrics are today. 877-377-6963. We'll take your calls. We'll take your text as well on the Chuck and Bo Show. It's 6:30 on a Tuesday.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
All right, well, congratulations, Coach. I made some good calls today. You sure did. You sure did.
Fayetteville Auto Park has been Northwest Arkansas's premier automotive dealer for a long time. There's a reason for that. It starts with great brands: Acura, Chevrolet, Honda, Toyota. Plus, they've got a huge pre-owned inventory. They've got an on-site collision center. And that really is what makes them your one-stop automotive headquarters. The best brands, the best people, the best service, and the best selection. Whatever your automotive needs, Fayetteville Auto Park.
First Security is about more than great banking. Yes, we provide the financial expertise, digital tools, and everything else you need when you need it. But we also go all in on local support with friendly professionals, plus convenient locations all across the state. Because we believe personal banking is better banking. Visit fsbank.com for details. That's fsbank.com for friendly local banking with First Security. Bank better. Member FDIC.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
And Hog Noxious, our listeners just don't let us down. He said, Chuck, explain it to them. Smash or trash by saying swipe right or left.
Touchdown, Arkansas!
We fought back. We took a punch, and we answered back.
He's going to go! Johnson's at midfield, and there he goes! 98 yards. Keith, I saw it, but I'm not sure I believe it.
Listen to every Razorback football game this season right here on ESPN 95.3 and HitThatLine.com.
Don't miss A Night of Hope, an evening with John Calipari, Tuesday, September 17th at Pinnacle Country Club in Rogers. The evening gets underway at 6:15 with a VIP meet and greet and cocktail party for premium sponsors. At 6:30, hear Razorbacks Coach Cal with special guest Joe Klein. Tickets, tables, and sponsorships are all available by logging on to TeamLukeHopeForMinds.org. A Night of Hope, supporting children after brain injury, September 17th. Log on now, TeamLukeHopeForMinds.org.
Ready to explore beyond the beaten path? Discover the Range Rover lineup at Land Rover of Little Rock. Experience handcrafted luxury with the capability to take on any adventure. The elegant Range Rover offers unmatched performance and first-class luxury. The Range Rover is built for every journey. Visit Land Rover of Little Rock today and explore our incredible Range Rover selection. Plus, take advantage of our promotions and recently revamped service department. Visit us at 25 Colonel Glenn Plaza Drive or log on at LandRoverLittleRock.com.
When you need tough and paint just isn't enough, check out River City Coatings in Van Buren. When it comes to your metals, paint can peel and crack over time. Whether it's your patio furniture, rims or trims on your automobile, or heavy equipment, no one has time for a redo. Powder coating provides the toughness you need. Preserve your investment with powder coating from River City Coatings. River City Coatings, certified John Deere, Caterpillar, ISO 9001, Packer, and UL provider of tough. River City Coatings, 471-7675 or online at rivercitycoatings.com. WaveRuralConnect.com.
The Wave Rural Connect Shoal Creek Zone is open. Fast fiber internet, TV, and home phone available. This covers Midway, New Blaine, Scranton, Delaware, and other areas. Even if this isn't your zone, check your address. We might be available for you. Get your whole home solution. Internet, TV, and phone from a local provider. Go to signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
The best Tex-Mex and even better service is at Joe's Grill and Cantina in Fort Smith. Every Friday is Fajita Friday, featuring their charbroiled steak and chicken. It's tender, full of flavor, and comes with all the fixings. Saturdays are for endless enchiladas with Joe's homemade enchilada sauce and all the beef, chicken, or cheese enchiladas you can eat. Joe's Grill and Cantina. Great Tex-Mex, even better service. 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps. When I need a place to stay in Northwest Arkansas, I always choose the Inn at the Mill. It's centrally located in the heart of NWA at the Johnson exit off I-49 and is the most unique choice of hotels in the region. Whether you're in town for the game, a concert at the Amp, business travel, or just a weekend away, the Inn at the Mill has a spacious, clean room ready for you. Reserve your stay at the Inn at the Mill, 479-443-1800, or visit innatthemill.com. The Inn at the Mill, where the past meets the present.
Hey, Hawk fans, it's Ty with the Morning Rush. Join me this Saturday, September the 14th, from 10 a.m. till noon at the Stadium Shop on Razorback in Fayetteville. For Arkansas Game Day, Robert, Elizabeth, and Matt at the Stadium Shop will have a buy one regular price clothing item, get one equal or lesser value, half off. The Stadium Shop on Razorback has the largest selection of Razorback merchandise south of the North Pole. It does not get more Razorback than the Stadium Shop. Arkansas Game Day live at the Stadium Shop on Razorback this Saturday from 10 a.m. till noon.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show. Listen anywhere at hitthatline.com or the Hit That Line Now app. And now, Chuck and Bo.
877-377-6963. That's the number that'll get you into the program. Eddie is on the line. Eddie, get us going.
Well, I'm doing all right. I'm still a Hawks fan. But, you know, I still have a sickening feeling in my stomach this morning. How we lost this game. It should be a sickening feeling, especially on the offensive, for every player on our team. For every coach on our team, it should be a sickening feeling. But the reason I'm calling in today, you know what's missing in our program?
What's that,
You
Eddie?
want me to tell you the truth?
Please do.
Listen to this. It's contagious. But listen to this, what Vince Lombardi said. I'm going to read it to your listen today. And if many of you don't know who Vince is, it's Vince Lombardi. It's a famous coach. And it's what the Super Bowl trophy, the Vince Lombardi trophy. But listen to what he said. And if you know, he said this. Said the measure of what we are is what we do with what we have. Listen to this. Confidence is contagious. So is the lack of confidence. And what's embedded in our program is a lack of confidence that we're going to close out a game and actually win a game. That's contagious. That has to stop. You know, sometimes you get yourself in a rut. Now, boy, are we in a rut. You know what I mean by that? Just look at our special teams. You say, well, when I bring this up, this is tough. Well, we live in a tough world. And Coach Pittman, here's the wonderful thing about it. You can write a different script. You know, we've lost 10 of 12 games with winnable, and we finally to lose. That has to stop. But it's a wonderful thing, Coach Pittman. You're the CEO of our football program. As Elvis Costello said, you know, I write a book every day, and the script we wrote in Stillwater has to stop. You don't write a winning quote, and you can do that. Because let me tell you something. Special teams cannot continue because our football program wins, and it seems never to get addressed. I mean, I promise you you this. You will not win one SEC game with special teams that we have. You say, well, that's a tough thing to say. Well, we live in a tough world. And you're not doing anybody no favor by coddling them. And that goes to you, Bobby Petrino. Let me tell you something. You know this. You've changed, sir. There's not a player on this team above winning in our program. And if they're turning the ball over, if they're missing receivers, sit their tail on the bench. If they're fumbling the ball, sit their tail on the bench. And if you don't do that, shame on you. Because it's about wins in our program. And it's embedded in our program. And I'm sick of it. And somebody needs to tell you the truth. You cannot change what you don't acknowledge. Do you understand what I'm telling you? I'll leave you with this. You say, well, these are tough words. Well, yes, it is. You're not doing a player on our team any favor by coddling them. It's about wins in our program. And we have a rich program. And if you don't write a different script, you know, two things got to happen before we get into SEC play against Auburn. You know what's got to take place?
What's that, Eddie?
You got to make a decision what script I'm going to write. But I'm calling Scott Fountain in my office because, you know, I'm saying two words to him. You're fired. Let me say this. If you don't do that, it's going to continue because our program wins. And if you don't, thank you for taking my call.
Oh, Eddie, I've got questions. I got questions about your call. I mean, you can't fire everybody.
Eddie's articulated every frustration everybody had.
All in one call.
All in one call.
Fire everybody, bench everybody. Don't put up with it. I mean, I love the mentality, but the question is, what is the solution to making it better? And you can't bench everybody and you can't fire everybody. He is right about special teams. Like, you cannot take special teams in this league. No one with a bad special teams unit is winning at an above 500 clip in this league. Like, it's just not happening. Like, I don't see Arkansas beating people so bad offensively that they never have to kick field goals.
Oh, there's a lot to special teams. I mean, there's a lot to it. I was interested to hear Coach Pittman's explanation yesterday about, you know, what transpired on some of the punts. And you know, one of the things that we cannot see we can see the play unfold, but we cannot hear the communication on the field between the returner, all the things that go on. And there are certain there's a certain communication that's got to go on every time.
I'll play that clip for you.
Yeah, we just, we don't have access to that when we're watching the game.
We all should be keying the returner as we're coming down. And we didn't. I thought the second one, he was more aware of where he was, but he's still way too close. Same thing when we had the ball on the ground with our call to get away from the ball. So, yeah, our returner will make a call that lets him know that he's fair catching it.
You know, it's also hard, and I know people don't care, but it's just true. Like, you're in the second game of the season. You got a bunch of new players, and then I know this sounds like excuses. They're not excuses. Like, you win or lose. I mean, there's nothing you can do with it. Like, you lost the game. But I'm trying to explain this because it's important. Like, we watch games, and we want the team to be perfect. Like, we want them to go out there and execute and do all the things you're supposed to do. And it's unrealistic. The problem is when those things occur at just the wrong time. And what happened on Saturday is that you had some bad things happen at just the wrong time. You may remember Hunter Yurachek was on the show on Friday, and I remember what he said. He said, we need a couple of breaks that'll put us over the hump. Oklahoma State got a couple of breaks that put them over the hump at the end. Arkansas turned out to look like the better team, but the breaks didn't go their way. Now, you got to fix them, and if you don't fix them moving forward, that's an issue. Let me make one other point. I'll ask the question. Chuck, do you believe, per Eddie's call, do you believe at any point in that game, Arkansas thought they were going to lose again? Here we go again. This always happens to us. We're going to lose. Do you think that ever crossed their mind in this game?
No, and I think what Eddie said is it points out the difference between the way fans view what transpired and what the players and the team view. And I don't mean that
No.
I don't mean to put anybody down when I say that.
I understand and agree completely, and I don't think you are.
For fans, it's as we discussed yesterday. So much of the frustration feels like a culmination. They, when it happens, the first time it happens in a season, there's the thought that, oh no, here we go again. And when you talk about, when Eddie says confidence has been lacking for a long period of time, I don't know that affects this team. Does it affect the way the fans feel? Well, sure it does. There's no way it couldn't. But I don't think that those players in the critical moments thought, hey, we're 2-10 or 3 and whatever or 4 and whatever in the last so many one-score games. We're not going to win this game. I don't think that ever crossed anybody's mind. Crossed a lot of fans' minds, and I get that, but I don't think it crossed a player or a coach's mind.
I want to get into this question when we come back. Do fans impact the culture of a program? Do you, the fan, impact the culture? Culture is a buzzword. It came up a couple of times yesterday. People often don't even fully understand what they're talking about, I think, when they say that, including me. Culture is, defined differently by a lot of people. But if you want to talk about culture, the environment, the feeling, the mood, if losing is contagious, if winning is contagious, we don't accept penalties, we don't accept certain things, we got to be disciplined. Do fans play a role in that? We'll get into that when we come back. It's 877-377-6963, 6:45 on a Tuesday on the Chuck and Bo Show. Good morning.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
There's a lot of lions, tigers, and bears, but there ain't but one Razorback. Number one.
Man, I've got some good news. Sweatinum Cosmetic is not just for females. Turns out us guys want to look and feel good too. Why be tired, lethargic, and overweight when we don't have to be? Sure, diet and exercise matter, but there could also be a lot more going on. For example, low testosterone is a real thing among many adult males, not just the old guys. I've heard about the weight loss shots and the low T ads before, and I've been skeptical. But then I stopped by my friend's office, Dr. Jeff Sweatinum. He showed me around that first-class facility and said, here's what we're doing for guys. It's called the Sweatinum Edge. You make an appointment, get a free evaluation covering 4 potential issues: hormones, weight loss, hair loss, and skin. Find out where you are and decide if treatment is right for you. Log on to SweatinumCosmetic.com, SweatinumCosmetic.com, and click on the Sweatinum Edge, or call 479-966-4174 and tell them you heard about the Sweatinum Edge on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Oaklawn is your hot springs escape. Enjoy plush comfort, upscale dining, and Arkansas's only Forbes 4-star rated spa at our luxury hotel. And with easy access to Hot Springs National Park and sparkling lakes, Oaklawn is your home base for everything the region has to offer. Come stay, play, and get away at Oaklawn, a Forbes Travel Guide recommended hotel. Make your reservation at oaklawn.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
There's a sense of pride when it comes to things built in our state. And you can add Flyway Brewing to the list, a craft brewery with roots in North Little Rock dating back to 2013. With popular flavors like Blue Wing Berry Wheat Ale, the Honeybird Blonde, and the Early Bird IPA, there's no shortage to enjoy a tasty craft beer flight at the Flyway Brewery in Fayetteville, 1550 East Zion Road, or in North Little Rock at 314 Maple Street. Flyway Craft Beer, also available in restaurants and stores everywhere.
With Oaklawn Sports, the action never stops and the season is never over. It's now easier than ever to wager on your favorite sports all year long. Go from football to basketball to baseball to golf. Bet on what you want, when you want, with the brand you trust. Oaklawn Sports even offers ways to bet on cricket, rugby, table tennis, and more. If it's a sport, chances are you can wager on it. Plus, it's now simpler to deposit and withdraw money from your account. Bet all year long with Oaklawn Sports, Arkansas's best sports betting app. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
Hey, Razorback fans, it's Quinn Grovey alongside my man, Matt Zimmer. And it's a great time to be a Razorback.
Embrace the hoe!
Whether it's a touchdown, a slam dunk, or a grand slam.
Big Suey, they were doing all the stuff. I went in there to get something to eat, and they're cheering. I'm like, what is going on here?
We're here with the excitement and insight you crave.
Well, you're giving me goosebumps now,
It's the Razorback Daily from the team at Sport and Store.
That might be our best episode ever.
Available wherever you listen to your podcast each morning.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
You hear that? You hear that?
Back to Save Sports Radio.
At Dobson Fiber, we're helping you build stronger connections by bringing the fastest internet network available to your business. Why fiber? Fiber internet provides reliable, symmetrical, blazing speeds. Without any interruptions or buffering, you can rely on Dobson for all your data needs. With Dobson Fiber as your premium internet provider, you can focus on the things that matter and the connections you build. To see if fiber is available to you, visit Dobson.net. Dobson Fiber, building stronger connections.
Hey, Hog fans, this is Elizabeth.
This is Robert.
And this is Matt, and we're with the Stadium Shop on Razorback.
Folks, it's the most wonderful time of the year.
No, it's not Christmas yet. No, Mom, he's referring to football season. Oh, speaking of football, guess what we just got in?
Season tickets?
Sideline passes? Well, close. We just started receiving the Nike sideline apparel like hats and polos.
Yeah, but did we get jerseys?
Yeah, we got both kinds, cardinal and white. We also have youth and adult sizes.
That's great. People have been asking for that for quite some time now. Matt, by the way, I did some research, and there's no shot for going viral.
Oh, Lord. Mom, he's a goner. Anyway, besides Nike, we also have Champion, Cutter & Buck, Tommy Bahama, and many other brands.
All at the largest Razorback store south of the North Pole, which is 989 South Razorback Road, next to Baumwalker Stadium. Matt, you tell them all about them interweb-based grams.
He means the website, which is shop on Razorback.com. Or give us a call at 479-STADIUM. That's 479-782-3486. Folks, it does not get more Razorback than us. Go Hogs!
TGI Fridays on Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith now has meal deals starting at $9.99, which includes an entree, side, and fountain drink. Try their delicious 6-ounce sirloin served with seasoned fries for $15.99. The Bacon Ranch Chicken Sandwich with seasoned fries, $11.99. Chicken Caesar Salad for $10.99 and more. Their meal deals also include tasty chicken fettuccine Alfredo served with garlic breadsticks for $12.99 and a cheeseburger with seasoned fries for only $9.99. TGI Fridays, I-540 and Rogers Avenue, Fort Smith.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show. Listen anywhere at hitthatline.com or the Hit That Line Now app. And now, Chuck and Bo.
Or you can call the show at 877-377-6963. Before we move on, let me talk to you about Fayetteville Auto Park for just a moment. You know, Fayetteville Auto Park has been around really as long as I can remember, if you want to know the truth, and they've always been meeting their customers' needs. It really is where Northwest Arkansas shops for automobiles, and you know, it's a one-stop location, and that's the thing that I think perhaps is the best part about it. First off, you're going to get a great selection. They've got great brands: Honda, Acura, Toyota, Chevrolet, and you know, they've got the largest pre-owned selection that you're going to find. You're also going to get great service after the sale. They've got an award-winning service department. They've got an award-winning collision department. So from start to finish, they really are your automobile headquarters. Again, they've got a great selection. You can check it out online today at FayettevilleAutopark.com.
You know, I wonder if you think that fans really impact the program, because when Eddie was talking about this, it came to mind that the way fans feel and how we talk and what we talk about, and oh no, here we go again, is also contagious. Now, don't misunderstand me, because somebody right now is hearing me, way to go, Bo, you're blaming the fans. No. Let's just talk about fans for a second. The team's the team. We all sit around and talk about the team. We all sit around and talk about the players. We all take shots like it's easy out there. I'd love to see Taylor Green be more accurate. He'd love to not have a linebacker blitzing from nowhere untouched in his face. I mean, it's just easy for us to talk about not being in the middle of it. Totally get that. That's part of it. Nothing really wrong with that. That's part of being a fan, especially if you pay your money, you go to a game, whatever. I get it. But let me ask you this. Do fans impact a culture? Are they part of the culture? Like, if you think it doesn't impact recruiting in a negative way for a recruit to get on social media and see a fan base bashing a team, and he gets on another and he sees another fan base not doing that, which a lot of it comes down to winning and losing. All fans like to bash or whatever. But we talk about environments like stadiums you go into, and almost regardless sometimes of their record, you're going to have a great crowd. That's an impact. I think fans, just like Eddie was talking about confidence within the team, the culture of a fan base, the confidence of a fan base, looking at solutions and potential positives and not always just talking about here we go again. Like, what's the solution? What is the solution to here we go again? What is it?
Well, it starts with winning games. I mean, I hate to put it like that, but that's kind of where it starts. And, that's the bottom line. And that's what's going to determine the mood of your fan base more than anything. I do believe that fans have an effect on the culture of the program. I'm not going to blame fans when things go bad, and neither am I going to give fans an inordinate amount of credit when things go well.
Right.
I'm very much pro player, very much pro coach, because they're the ones that are out there doing it. But I do think that particularly in times of trouble, fan bases some are worse than others. I just put it that way. And when that happens, I do think it affects recruiting. Yes.
Well, I think my point would be, if I'm answering my own question, is you do have an impact. And how do you make that impact? What do you choose to do as a fan to make that impact? And look, it's not always made easy on you. I get it. I mean, Eddie's the one that was telling us how laughs hard. He's not wrong.
It's tough. Tough words.
Vince Lombardi. If for those of you, the best part about Eddie's call was explaining who Vince Lombardi is. And
pretty good.
I think he wanted people to understand that he's not a musician. He's not an artist, because that's who Eddie normally quotes. But today,
he was quoting Vince Lombardi. He wanted people to understand the gravity of that.
They've only named the trophy after him. But if you win it all, you get the Vince Lombardi trophy. All right. Well, it's been a fun conversation, and we will continue at 877-377-6963. Winning is more fun. Arkansas looks like, as Chuck pointed out yesterday, they've got more wins in them. What are your thoughts as we continue to react to what you've seen through 2 weeks and look ahead to Arkansas's first home game in Fayetteville against UAB? It's the Chuck and Bo Show on a Tuesday.
First Security is about more than great banking. Yes, we provide the financial expertise, digital tools, and everything else you need when you need it. But we also go all in on local support with friendly professionals, plus convenient locations all across the state. Because we believe personal banking is better banking. Visit fsbank.com for details. That's fsbank.com for friendly local banking with First Security. Bank better. Member FDIC.
I always enjoy talking about Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company. If you followed my radio career, you remember they were partners on the original sports rap radio program over 20 years ago. We've done business together from an advertising perspective, but more importantly, they've been my partners in buying and selling homes. I'd recommend them to anybody. They're in Northwest Arkansas, the River Valley, and in Branson. Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company, turning houses into homes since 1978.
It seems like everything is more expensive this year, but replacing your AC doesn't have to be. If you need to replace your AC this summer, before you commit, price check with Paschal. You can save money and use the professionals to replace your system. Enjoy the peace of mind knowing you chose the best option for your home. Visit gopaschal.com and with just a few clicks, see how much you can save with the Paschal price check. Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
Arkansas's one-stop automotive shop is right around the corner. Fayetteville Auto Park. FayettevilleAutoPark.com. Chevy, Toyota, Honda, Acura, Collision Center, all in one place. And if you're shopping pre-owned, Fayetteville Auto Park has you covered. With so many new cars sold, we always have a great selection of fresh trades. Why settle for anything less than the best? Fayetteville Auto Park, West Showroom Drive in Fayetteville. Proud sponsor of the Chuck and Bo Show.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Did I hear my broadcast partner talking about somebody slipping in his DM?
When I need a place to stay in Northwest Arkansas, I always choose the Inn at the Mill. It's centrally located in the heart of NWA at the Johnson exit off I-49 and is the most unique choice of hotels in the region. Whether you're in town for the game, a concert at the Amp, business travel, or just a weekend away, the Inn at the Mill has a spacious, clean room ready for you. Reserve your stay at the Inn at the Mill, 479-443-1800, or visit innatthemill.com. The Inn at the Mill, where the past meets the present.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, weather stays pretty quiet and warm. We may start to see some tropical moisture begin from Francine by Thursday. Sunshine today, a high this afternoon, mid to upper 80s, mainly clear sky tonight, low to mid 60s. Sunny on Wednesday with our high in the upper 80s to near 90. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by In Good Spirits, Fort Smith's premier source for fine wines, specialty beers, and liquor.
Every morning in hardworking America, Hardee's biscuit makers rise to bake you Hardee's original made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuits. Famous since 1977 and still baked fresh every 15 minutes. It's not the easy way, but it's the only way to make Hardee's breakfast so good. Like our mix and match handcrafted breakfast biscuits. Select items now 2 for $5. Hardee's, goodness in the making. Tax not included. Price and participation may vary.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
From the Bushlight Studios, this is ESPN 95.3, KERX Paris, Fort Smith.
Are you sure this is legal? I don't know. It's fun though, isn't it?
Pay attention. This happens fast. Routine, scheduled, maintenance. You know it's coming one day, but that day's in the future. Then the future comes, and your wallet's not ready for that $250 maintenance. But your forklift is. It needs it. Good thing you're smart. You're buying a used forklift from Medley Equipment Company this summer, and its first planned maintenance will be free because Medley keeps you moving.
I'm branch manager Dennis Mabry. Visit medleycompany.com or see us at 4001 Harper Avenue, Fort Smith, Arkansas.
It's summer clearance sale time at Jelco Outdoors. Save 25% off summer casual and fishing clothing by Ariat, Rig, Hook, Wrangler, and Under Armour. Old Town kayaks and canoes, marked to cost. Save hundreds of dollars on the Old Town while they last. Archers, get ready for early bow season. Don't miss the summer clearance sale at Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
Hey, Hog fans, this is Elizabeth.
This is Robert.
And this is Matt, and we're at the Stadium Shop on Razorback.
Folks, it's the most wonderful time of the year.
No, it's not Christmas yet.
No, Mom, he's referring to football season.
Oh, speaking of football, guess what we just got in?
Season tickets?
Sideline passes?
Well, close. We just started receiving the Nike sideline apparel like hats and polos.
Yeah, but did we get jerseys?
Yeah, we got both kinds, cardinal and white.
We also have youth and adult sizes.
That's great. People have been asking for that for quite some time now. Matt, by the way, I did some research, and there's no shot for going viral.
Oh, Lord. Mom, he's a goner.
Anyway, besides Nike, we also have Champion, Cutter & Buck, Tommy Bahama, and many other brands.
All at the largest Razorback store south of the North Pole, which is 989 South Razorback Road, next to Baum Walker Stadium. Matt, you tell them all about them interweb-based scram
He means the website, which is shoponrazorback.com.
Or give us a call at 479-STADIUM. That's 479-782-3486.
Folks, it does not get more Razorback than us.
Go Hogs!
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
Previously heard on Chuck and Bo.
Yeah.
How long are you going to keep making the same mental mistakes? You know what the definition of insanity is, don't you, Bo?
You know what I don't have? I don't have a killer instinct.
That was so bad, Bart's got to get fired. Bart, you're fired. Bo screwed it up so bad, you're fired.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
That was a call play, and I called it.
A show of record for Razorback fans.
Ready to roll right now, Bo. Can you believe we're doing this? This brings just like old times.
This is getting ridiculous, Bo Mattingly.
Northwest Arkansas is growing. It deserves an intelligent sports radio.
Two ball play guys with a face for radio.
Let's make another excuse for this jackwater.
That's right.
Presented by First Security Bank. By Kirk Realtors, the Griffin Company. Pasco Air, Plumbing and Electric. Flight by Yingling and Fayetteville Auto Park. And now, Chuck and Bo.
Well, obviously, Bart's been rehired. We had a high-level meeting at the end of the show yesterday.
Do you think anybody got it on social? Like I told,
I don't
Bart when he
know.
Put it out. I'm like, do people realize that what we're doing is we're taking sort of like fan reaction to games, and we're just doing it internally. That's what we've got going on here. But you're fired.
Yeah.
Someone makes a mistake. Somebody else has got to be fired.
Somebody's got to go.
It is our second most popular clip on TikTok today.
Is it really?
Just
wow.
You didn't know that, Chuck?
I mean, Chuck,
Well,
where
normally
are
the
you?
first thing I do when I get up is track the TikTok numbers. But I was a little off my game this morning, I guess.
Yeah, it's a rabbit hole, TikTok, Chuck. You don't want to stay
Hey,
away.
man, I will say this. I have the times I've spent on TikTok are hours and hours I'll probably never get back. Well, I certainly will never get back. Hey, 877-377-6963 is the number. You can follow the Chuck and Bo Show on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Streaming at hitthatline.com or the Hit That Line Now app. And so there you have it. That's how we do it around here.
Yeah.
As we begin the second hour of the show today.
We do have this thing that we got to get over where I feel like it's always the coach's fault and everything rides on one guy, and it all you got to do is just get a different head coach. I mean, look, including the interim coaches, there's been 8 in the 20 years that Mike Gundy has been at Oklahoma State. I heard it said yesterday, as somebody called another show and misquoted our show, which is really surprising. Yeah, I can't imagine how that would happen. But the culture thing came up on our show yesterday, Chuck, and we talked about the difficulty in building a culture when you have all new players. And that doesn't mean you can't have a culture and there's not a standard, and they have a standard. And you and I have been in that building, talked to people about it, seen it. And I think this team has a good culture, actually. It doesn't mean you don't make mistakes or there aren't penalties or you don't have a lapse in emotion and you get a personal foul that ends up really costing you. We talked about as good as Oklahoma State's culture is, and Mike Gundy being there for 20 years, he's got a 24-year-old mature quarterback who nearly cost his team the game because he was doing pistols firing at the Arkansas sideline towards the end. He had an emotional moment. He talked about it after the game and said, man, that could have cost my team. That's not going to happen again. I just screwed up. I mean, it happens. It doesn't mean your culture sucks. That's not what it means. Like, because you make mistakes, it doesn't mean that. However, there is a big difference when you have the same strength coach for 20 years. If you're Kirk Ferentz and you're the longest tenured football coach in the sport, you should have a consistency of the personnel in your building so that when new people do come in, you are going to have everybody speaking the same language. When you have staff turnover, when you have a new coach every 4 or 5 years, it's going to become more difficult to be consistent at that. Doesn't mean it can't exist. But I also don't look at this team or Sam Pittman as a culture problem. DJ Williams made a great point yesterday. I don't even know if I have this clip completely ready to play. I might have just sent it to you guys. But there's a point here that I think we'll hear.
600 total yards of offense. When it comes to that, those games that y'all are comparing this one to last year, saying it's just the same old ish. Those games when we had Bama on the ropes, LSU on the ropes, Ole Miss on the ropes, all at home, you could tell those teams were beating themselves. And we just were we benefited off of their mistakes. And once they decided, okay, let's tighten up and lock in and get it done, we just physically couldn't keep up with those teams. That wasn't the case this year. We were the team who were just shooting ourselves in the foot time and time again. And I guarantee you, Coach Gundy and everyone at Oklahoma State was just like, man, we glad they messed up. Dang, we're glad they didn't pick up on what we had going on. And it's just the first year in this whole Petrino system. I'm telling y'all, it is on the way and it is coming, and it will be sooner than later.
See, that's the difference. We talk about the record of close games. And I thought he articulated it really well there, Chuck. I mean, Arkansas has been the underdog. They haven't been the better team. And teams maybe come in, overlook Arkansas, whatever. You hang around, maybe play above your head a little bit. And then they just kind of finish you off at the end. And Arkansas is the one that let it get away this time. But it hasn't been like they've been letting it get away in all these other games. I'm not saying it hasn't happened at all. But we act like this culture of Sam Pittman can't finish games is a reality. I don't know if that's true.
Well, quite honestly, there have not been a lot of the losses over the years where we've looked back and said, hey, we were the better team. We just didn't win the game. We talked about, the record against the spread when you're an underdog. And now in some of those games, not all of them, but some of them, they've actually overachieved to keep them as close as they've kept them. The one thing that I will say about culture, though, and this has been one of the interesting aspects to what I do over the years is, and you do this too, Bo, when you walk in that building, and that building being the football building, you leave the real world behind. And sometimes it's just downright amazing, particularly if you've been away for a while. When you walk in that building, if the culture's right, the outside world is gone. It does not exist anymore. The minute that door shuts, the narrative 100% changes. And I can tell you it's that way now. The negativity that is going to come, and it's just going to come. It's part of it. It's in the outside world right now. Now, look, I've been around teams too, and we've had our share, more than our share. Where as the season progresses, all that stuff begins to seep in. It gets inside the building, and that's when you're in trouble. The one thing that I always pay attention to after ball games, and I'll say this before I stop rambling here, I want to know what the mood of that locker room is after the game. I want to know where guys sit. Have they clicked yet? And by that, I mean, have they clicked off? Have they broken up? When the game's over, and I think anybody that I work with will tell you this, first thing I want to know is I want to talk to the people who were in the locker room. What was the locker room like? To me, that tells the story. That tells you if you've got a chance. It doesn't mean if the locker room's together, you're going to win every game. But if it's not together, you don't have a prayer. And I think right now the culture's good. Now, you got to win games. You got to win games to keep that going. I think Coach Petrino said something, and Coach Pittman quoted him. He said, the thing Oklahoma State had was the knowledge of their team. They had a lot of returners. Arkansas is still learning about that team. That process is going to continue. 2 weeks from now or a week and a half from now, however many days it is, 12, I guess, until they play Auburn. You got to get a lot of things right between now and then. Auburn's in the same spot. So I think that's a key Saturday.
We talk about our state and the pride of our state a lot and what it's like here. And we brag about it to the rest of the country. And you're sitting in an airport and you introduce yourself and they're from Chicago or LA or Houston or New York. And where are you from? I'm from Arkansas. Oh, well, and you know that feeling, right? Oh, you're going to look down on me because I'm from Arkansas, right? And we take a lot of pride in our state. And I mean this as an encouragement. Like, this is an awesome place. It really is. And a lot of us could live somewhere else. We choose to live here, and we love it here. And sometimes, and what happens is we care so much about our teams that sometimes we emotionally act in a way that we maybe later regret. But the rest of the world looks at that. Like the rest of college football, recruits look at that. People that want to come here maybe, or they're in the transfer portal, they could come here, they go somewhere else. And I know NIL and all that money and all that stuff matters. But like, you do have an impact. And is it too early to go negative on this team? Like the rest of the country's looking at Arkansas going, hey, man, they might have something. They might have something there. And a lot of us are in here looking at it going, we suck again. It's like Bobby Boucher and Waterboy. Oh no, we sucked again. Like, what are we doing? Like, why not look at the upside? Like, what is the crowd going to be like at the UAB game? And what would it have looked like? And Chuck's right. Like, winning impacts everything. And I'm not trying to tell people how to spend their time or all that. I'm just calling to the point that you have an impact too. It's not just the team and the players and all that. You have an impact. You want to talk culture and environment? What kind of culture and environment did you walk into at Oklahoma State? Oklahoma State has been getting drilled by Oklahoma for years in Bedlam. They've come up short. They've won 10 games or 9 games or less. They've only had a couple of 11, 12 win seasons. They've had a bunch of 10 win seasons, but that was just not quite good enough to get them to where they wanted to go. Does that fan base feel like at Oklahoma State, like they're a bunch of sour, angry people that think their coach should go? I mean, when Houston Nutt was going to 3 SEC championships here, people were ready to run them out of town. And that's just part of the culture and the environment. Like you do have an impact on that. And again, I'm not blaming the fans. I'm just saying everybody can play a role in this. The way you think and talk about the team, yes, they should be criticized when they don't do it. That's what we talk about. That's what we do. But it's like these giant sweeping generalizations or not understanding, and it's not your fault because we need to talk about this. We're closer to it in some cases and can maybe explain it better. This is not the same. And I don't care what the record ends up being this year. There is nothing that's the same about this team.
No, there's not. And it's a better team than what we saw a year ago. Again, I'll go back to what I said a little bit earlier. The viewpoints come from different spots, and fans are looking, and I understand this. They're looking at a body of work, and it is interesting. And you're right, because when you look at some of the bowl prognosticators, they predicted Arkansas to be in a bowl game nationally. If you say now that here at home, the Razorbacks are going to go to a bowl game, one of two things is going to happen. Somebody's going to say, well, you're dreaming, or somebody's going to say, well, is that all we should aspire to? And I understand all that, but I do think that nationally right now, after that ball game, Arkansas is probably viewed in a little bit better light than they were before.
Here is Razorback antagonist Brian and Ozark.
What's going on, guys?
Lay it on us. I'm sure this is going to be wonderful.
Well, I do want to make a couple comments. First of all, I do give Arkansas a participation trophy. They showed up. That's all they're going to get.
Could you be a little more condescending, bro?
Average for
about all they
Texas.
deserve right now.
That's average.
But you know what? Here's one thing I would like to say. I think the player at UAPB kind of hit on something that I've noticed. Arkansas's defensive backs are not very fast. I mean, they're all right. But when you look at my team that's kind of come to Fayetteville that have 8 receivers that run 4.3, they're going to blow by those guys. So,
well, it's nice to know that we're
4.3.
suddenly comparing Arkansas to the number 1, 2, or 3 team in the country right now.
Most receivers that run 4.3 blow by guys.
Texas is the number 1 team. They will beat Georgia. Bank on it. Georgia cannot keep up with Texas. You know what?
So what does exactly this mean for Arkansas as a team this season? What your astute analysis that you just rolled out there?
Well, you know,
live here on Sports Center.
Okay, Arkansas has to beat Auburn, because if they don't beat Auburn, their season's over. And the reason I say that, okay, this is why
really?
I say that. There's 5 teams that they're not going to beat. They're not beating Texas. They're not beating Ole Miss. They're not beating Tennessee. They're not beating Missouri. And
pick another one out of the hat. Go ahead.
I don't know. Probably not.
It's like a white elephant Christmas party. What do we got here?
I'm just saying, if they don't beat Auburn and Mississippi State, they're not going to any bowl. Period.
Well, you're right about that. If they don't win those games, you're right. They're not going to go to a bowl game.
Wow. If they don't win 6 games, they're not going to a bowl game. Thanks, Brian.
No, they've got to beat those two because they can't beat nobody else.
Well, by my math, if those are the only 2 they win the rest of the way, that's not going to be enough to get them to 6. I mean, look, everybody understands that there are certain games that if you're going to be a bowl team, you need to win. And you named a couple of them there. So to say that if you lose those games, you're not going to go to a bowl, you're not jumping out on a limb there when you say that. I mean, you're right, but you're not really taking a chance.
We're brought to you in part by Blakeman's Fine Jewelry. The Razorbacks have great tradition. So many times we've been able to celebrate something, even though it's not as often sometimes as we'd like, and particularly lately in football. But Blakeman's Fine Jewelry has something for every special occasion. The official jeweler of the Arkansas Razorbacks. They have quality and craftsmanship that matter. They know it matters, and they know education matters. So whatever your event is, whatever your celebration is, whatever your moment is, they're going to help you understand, hey, this will work for that, and you can try this for the other thing. It's not just the moments either. It's about finding something that you appreciate. From stunning engagement rings and gifts that celebrate life's milestones, Blakeman's is proud to be part of your Razorback journey. You can find them in Rogers and explore the brilliance that only Blakeman's can deliver. Blakeman's is where your search ends and your story begins.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
But I want someone to slide into my DMs. It's just
I'm not sure I'm
goal.
entirely comfortable with this.
It sounds appealing to me.
When it comes to finding the perfect diamond, there's one name that stands above the rest in Northwest Arkansas. Blakeman's Fine Jewelry. As the region's premier experts for diamonds, Blakeman's offers an unparalleled selection of brilliant stones, handpicked for their quality and beauty. They don't just help you find the perfect stone, they educate you on every step of the way. Whether you're planning a proposal, celebrating an anniversary, or simply treating yourself, Blakeman's is where your search ends and your story begins.
I always enjoy talking about Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. If you followed my radio career, you remember they were partners on the original sports rap radio program over 20 years ago. We've done business together from an advertising perspective, but more importantly, they've been my partners in buying and selling homes. I'd recommend them to anybody. They're in Northwest Arkansas, the River Valley, and in Branson. Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, turning houses into homes since 1978.
There's a sense of pride when it comes to things built in our state. And you can add Flyway Brewing to the list, a craft brewery with roots in North Little Rock dating back to 2013. With popular flavors like Blue Wing Berry Wheat Ale, the Honeybird Blonde, and the Early Bird IPA, there's no shortage to enjoy a tasty craft beer flight at the Flyway Brewery in Fayetteville, 1550 East Scion Road, or in North Little Rock at 314 Maple Street. Flyway Craft Beer, also available in restaurants and stores everywhere.
Ty Story, high school football coach and former college quarterback.
I love coaching, but it's a lot more fun after LASIK. Now when I'm coaching, I can focus on my players and not my eyes. After LASIK, my eyes are even better than before when I had glasses or wore contacts. The McDonald Eye Team was great. They put me at ease. I couldn't believe how well I was seeing the day after surgery. Good vision and good football go together. I'm really glad I trusted my eyes to McDonald Eye Associates.
See your best with safe and affordable LASIK from McDonald Eye Associates. Register for your free consultation at mcdonaldeye.com.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
A great pair. Really honored that you guys are doing this, listening over here in Jonesboro.
It's summer clearance sale time at Jelco Outdoors. Save 25% off summer casual and fishing clothing by Ariat, Rig, Hook, Wrangler, and Under Armour. Old Town kayaks and canoes, marked to cost. Save hundreds of dollars on the Old Town while they last. Archers, get ready for early bow season. Don't miss the summer clearance sale at Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
Let me grab my car keys and we'll roll.
Are we still going to that new bar downtown?
Yeah, it's supposed to be fun. Lexi, give me driving directions from home to downtown Bar District.
Autocorrect. Suggest Uber. Pick up, home. Drop off downtown Bar District.
No, I'm driving.
Suggest the Metro bus. Departing in 12 minutes.
Point taken, Lexi. We'll grab a ride.
If you drink, don't drive. Decide to ride. Brought to you in partnership by Anheuser-Busch, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and Uber.
End of season savings are yours right now on Kubota hay equipment at Gray Brothers, including the new DM Series disc mowers, or try Kubota's DM Series trail mowers. And for the prettiest bale of hay on the market, try Kubota's VV Series round baler. With Gray Brothers low pricing and great interest rates from Kubota, it's time for your new hay equipment. That's Gray Brothers Equipment in Fort Smith and Poto, where if you pick orange, you'll never get a lemon.
Are you tired of processed meat and flimsy sandwiches? Subchain's gotten to your last nerve? Then I have the place for you. Come see my buddy Josefa at Lily's Sandwich Shop in the Bakery District in downtown Fort Smith. Locally sourced meat sliced daily and fresh breads from Harvest Moon Bakery. Daily specials announced on Facebook, including the Poke Bowl every Friday and Saturday. For to-go orders, call 479-567-3403.
My name is Lily. My Baba makes the best sandwiches at Lily's Sandwich Shop. Come by and see him at the Bakery District today.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Good morning, Chuck and Bo. Love you, Chuck. Been listening to you dang near all my life calling games. Certainly excited about y'all's new show. I've listened every morning.
We got some questions yesterday about Landon Jackson. Here's Sam Pittman in his Monday news conference. Well, I'm playing it, but we're not hearing it. We'll come back to that. 877-377-6963. It's the Chuck and Bo Show. Good morning. Let me ask you a question. People that are upset, I get it, but I want to know, I guess, if it's just about this game that you could have, should have won, or is there more to it? Is it like, hey, man, we had a chance to win that game. We blew the game. I mean, anybody's upset about that. Like every player, every fan, totally get that. But then I'm reading, texts that we get that we were outcoached in the second half. Yes, the players have changed, but the head coach is the same. We will be mediocre with the head coach we have. Okay, what's mediocre? And is that true? And is that what this is all about? Is this all about, Chuck, you talked about quarterback giving a team hope and confidence. For the fans, is this all about whether or not you believe in the head coach? And you've already made your determination, and it's going to take something extraordinary to change your mind? Or are you just upset about Saturday's game? 877-377-6963. What do you think it is?
Well, I think it's a lot of things, just to be honest. And I think confidence in the head coach in every program's part of it. I mean, the players change, but the coaches stay the same. The Texter's right about that. I mean, that is how it works. And your confidence as a fan base generally does revolve around your confidence in your head coach. The problem is, it is so difficult for a coach to change the narrative once that snowball begins to roll. Because most media people, and we're all guilty of this, whether we want to admit it or not, we follow the narrative. You don't find a whole lot of media folks out there that are willing to, swim upstream, so to speak. And swimming upstream is not criticizing at every turn. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about that when it goes negative and people begin to, wonder if a guy's going to get fired, or is this going to happen, or is that going to happen, the narrative begins. And it's tough for a coach to change that narrative. And sometimes you have to do it in a dramatic fashion, because sometimes people make a decision and they're so close-minded that there's absolutely no way their minds are going to be changed. Now, I think from a fan's perspective, there are two camps. One's the camp that's being asked for money, and one's the camp that's not. There are a lot of people out there that are just looking for a reason to gripe. They don't go to game, and I'm not saying that it makes you less of a fan if you don't buy tickets, but you don't have skin in the game, so to speak, other than your emotion. So you're free to say whatever you want, and just like anybody else. There's also the camp that's being asked to pay more every year. And those are the people that I'm going to be honest. I'm a lot less inclined to criticize now than maybe I was 15 or 20 years ago, because a lot is being asked out of these people. They are being asked for money at every single turn, and I mean lots of it, more than they have sometimes, and being guilted into paying it when they say they can't. I know what goes on there, and I feel for those people sometimes. And when they gripe, it's not that I think they're correct. It's just I give them a little bit more latitude. Some people don't have skin in the game at all. But, yes, I do think that's a long answer to your question. A lot of it does boil down to confidence in the head coach.
No, that's great insight. 877-377-6963. You can call or text. By the way, don't forget to download the Hit That Line Now app. It's totally free, so easy to use. It's got a play button. You can hear the show anytime that we're on. And don't forget, we've got a Chuck and Bo podcast now that you can listen to on Apple and Spotify. If you miss any of the show, you can catch it there. We're brought to you in part by First Security Bank, Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric, the Fayetteville Auto Park, Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company, and Flight by Yingling. Let's go to the phones. Lee is in Baltimore, Maryland, probably having a crab cake for breakfast. Good morning, Lee.
Good morning. Good morning. Crab cake is correct. It's crab cakes and football.
There you go.
Unfortunately, not Razorback football. There is, to your point and to your question, unfortunately, I think it is a complete lack of confidence in the head coach. Last year was an anomaly. This year, we've got the talent, we've got the coordinators, we've brought in kids from the portal, we've beefed up the offensive line. However, we can't get over that hump with the critical errors. We just can't do it, and a lot of that, unfortunately, falls on the CEO of the program, and that's the head coach.
Mm-hmm.
So it's it's telling. I hate to say this, but at halftime of the game on Saturday, the Oklahoma State money line was plus 300, and you kind of have to take the plus 300 there, given the track record, and it's it's an emotional hedge, but unfortunately, it's a pretty smart hedge, and it all falls on the head coach, and it's a complete lack of confidence in the head coach. So, love having you guys back on the air, and appreciate you taking the phone call, and wish you all well.
Thanks, Lee. Appreciate that.
Hey, let me say something here. There's also a group of fans that have been priced out of the market. We just got a text about that. I don't want to make it sound like the only people whose opinions matter are those who are giving money. I don't
think you
all.
did make it sound like that, and I do think
if,
that people here
if I did,
what they
I
want to
was
hear.
in error. If I did,
No,
I was in error.
I didn't think you said. In fact, I think you made it clear that that's not what you were saying. And this is another thing that we have in it. Our bias shows up, and I'm included in this too. Our bias shows up. Like, we hear what we want to hear. We're looking for things to confirm what we already think. And we're all going to be better off if we listen and try to get it right and not just be right. And I get his gambling perspective that Lee just gave us. And thanks for the honesty on that, Lee. Didn't know that was the case, but I get if that's some value for a bettor who thinks, oh, yeah, this is a chance to just take a shot here. Oklahoma State might come back. Arkansas has had a tough time closing out games. This is not the same Arkansas team. I realize the same outcome happened, but as we pointed out earlier, most of the games where Arkansas has not finished and they've lost in a one-possession game, they've been an underdog. That was also the case on Saturday. The difference is this time you felt like they were the better team. When they've been close against Alabama or LSU or whatever, I'll tell you what, when they were close in that one-score game last year at LSU, you know what the money line was going into that game? It was like plus 500. And LSU, the better team, finished off the game. So this is actually the first time, maybe, in that entire record of whatever it is, 2-10 in one-score games, this is maybe the first time that at halftime of that game you expected to win. So this is not the same thing. The outcome was the same, but the details are different, and that matters. We got to take a break. We'll come back and take more of your calls at 7:32 on the Chuck and Bo Show.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
I've been waiting to say this for 5 years. Sterling in Center Ridge.
This is quite the coup that they have put together. Bo and Chuck, this is a dream team.
Flight by Yingling. It's the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass. Raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling and Son Incorporated. Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Arkansas's one-stop automotive shop is right around the corner. Fayetteville Auto Park. FayettevilleAutoPark.com. Chevy, Toyota, Honda, Acura, Collision Center, all in one place. And if you're shopping pre-owned, Fayetteville Auto Park has you covered. With so many new cars sold, we always have a great selection of fresh trades. Why settle for anything less than the best? Fayetteville Auto Park, West Showroom Drive in Fayetteville. Proud sponsor of the Chuck and Bo Show.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
And Hog Noxious, our listeners just don't let us down. He said, Chuck, explain it to them. Smash or trash by saying swipe right or left.
We'd like our program to reflect our state, the great state of Arkansas. Loyal, tough, hardworking. One of our goals every year is to make the state of Arkansas proud of the football team. In my office is a sign that says you're not coming to play for the University of Arkansas. You're coming to play for the state of Arkansas.
Listen to every Razorback football game this season right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
With everyday low prices on top brands, locally owned Jaeger's Ace Hardware is committed to offering real service with real savings. Get these red hot buys at any of our 4 locations. 5-gallon fruit trees, oak and maple trees, only $26.97. That's a savings of $9 per tree. Get a DeWalt 20-volt max brushed compact drill and impact driver kit with 2 batteries, carrying case, and bonus bit set for only $159 with your Ace Rewards card. Find more everyday low prices online at JaegersHardware.com.
Harry Robinson Salisal Ford wants to buy or trade for your vehicle today, and they will give you top dollar. Pre-owned car values are at historic all-time highs, and your car today is worth more than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Salisal Ford, and they'll give you more than any other dealer. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they'll still buy yours. Harry Robinson Salisal Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisal.
The Wave Rural Connect Shoal Creek Zone is open. Fast fiber internet, TV, and home phone available. This covers Midway, New Blaine, Scranton, Delaware, and other areas. Even if this isn't your zone, check your address. We might be available for you. Get your whole home solution. Internet, TV, and phone from a local provider. Go to signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
The best Tex-Mex and even better service is at Joe's Grill and Cantina in Fort Smith. Every Friday is Fajita Friday, featuring their charbroiled steak and chicken. It's tender, full of flavor, and comes with all the fixings. Saturdays are for endless enchiladas with Joe's homemade enchilada sauce and all the beef, chicken, or cheese enchiladas you can eat. Joe's Grill and Cantina. Great Tex-Mex, even better service. 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Hey, Hog fans, this is Elizabeth.
This is Robert. And this is Matt, and we're with the Stadium Shop on Razorback. Folks, it's the most wonderful time of the year.
No, it's not Christmas yet.
No, Mom, he's referring to football season.
Oh, speaking of football, guess what we just got in?
Season tickets? Sideline passes?
Well, close. We just started receiving the Nike sideline apparel like hats and polos.
Yeah, but did we get jerseys? Yeah, we got both kinds, cardinal and white.
We also have youth and adult sizes.
That's great. People have been asking for that for quite some time now. Matt, by the way, I did some research, and there's no shot for going viral. Oh, Lord. Mom, he's a goner.
Anyway, besides Nike, we also have Champion, Cutter & Buck, Tommy Bahama, and many other brands.
All at the largest Razorback store south of the North Pole, which is 989 South Razorback Road, next to Baumwalker Stadium. Matt, you tell them all about them interweb-based scram He means things. the website, which is shoponrazorback.com.
Or give us a call at 479-STADIUM. That's 479-782-3486.
Folks, it does not get more Razorback than us.
Go Hogs!
Pay attention. This happens fast. Routine, scheduled, maintenance. You know it's coming one day, but that day's in the future. Then the future comes, and your wallet's not ready for that $250 maintenance. But your forklift is. It needs it. Good thing you're smart. You're buying a used forklift from Medley Equipment Company this summer, and its first planned maintenance will be free because Medley keeps you moving.
I'm Branch Manager Dennis Mabry. Visit medleycompany.com or see us at 4001 Harper Avenue, Fort Smith, Arkansas.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
All you kids, anytime there's any problem, anytime somebody's, well, why don't you get YouTube TV? Well, why don't you get Sling? Why don't you, I mean, you've always got the answer.
Right.
You've always got the answer.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
All right, we're glad you're back. 877-377.
Oh, you kidding?
Do you ever listen to yourself on the air and go, man, who is that guy?
Great, though.
That guy's an idiot.
Well, we are. That's going to be the new liner. Two idiots with a face for radio.
Golly, I mean, sometimes it's like, I can't believe I said that. All right, let's go to the phones. Josh is on the line in Nashville. Josh, you are on the Chuck and Bo Show.
I got a bold prediction, guys. This narrative's going to change when we come out of Dallas, Texas, 4-1. Everybody will change their tune. They'll be on the Pittman wagon again till a week is over, and then it'll be like a smart TV. You don't know how to work. Everybody be mad. That's
right.
my prediction.
Well, that's part of it, right? I mean, you're going to have, and it's okay. I mean, you don't like to lose. Nobody likes to lose. That's not nobody's saying. I mean, this is people.
Hang on just a second. Hang on just a second. Take away last season, take away the seasons before. And I know that's a hard thing to ask some people to do.
Apparently impossible.
But based on what you've seen through 2 ball games, the idea that Arkansas would win at Auburn and beat Texas A&M is not far-fetched. That is not a far-fetched idea based on what we've seen through 2 games. Now, if you are one of those people who bases your thoughts, and I'm not discounting this, how could you not? But if you base your thoughts entirely on what's happened in seasons past, you're thinking, well, that's crazy. But if you really look at the ball game and you look at what's happened through 2 games, the idea of Arkansas being 4-1 through 5 is not out of the question.
Well,
Charlie's in Camden. Charlie, sorry, Bo.
Before we get to
All
Charlie,
right, go ahead.
I did get called out by 9th grader Will Schaefer, son of Todd Schaefer, women's assistant basketball coach, head assistant coach, that I needed to pump the brakes on the Sunshine, that they really don't have a chance against Ole Miss, Texas, and who's the other great team coming to Tennessee.
Well, we're not there yet. We're not there yet.
But what
I guarantee you this: if they're 4-1 coming out of A&M, people aren't going to be saying that.
Yeah. But those teams they look like they're on another level. They look like they're top 5, 10 in the country. But the rest of these games, I don't know why you'd think Arkansas has no chance based on what you saw on Saturday. Charlie is in Canada. Charlie, go ahead.
Well, and let me say this too, Bo, and I think Chuck just said it. If Arkansas needs to get there 4-1, by the way, because of the talent of those teams, but I think it's also a confidence booster. And also, if they get in another close game, I know, Chuck, I agree with you. This is a different year. It is. It's a different team. It's a different group of guys. But just for their own self-confidence, if they get in another situation, a close game, pressure situation, can they come through and win? And that's another thing. Now, granted, I don't think the other day should have even came down to that. I think they should have finished. They got to come up with and find a way to finish guys off when they have success early in games. And that's just one example. I know it's just one game. They got to be able to put teams away, especially like Oklahoma State with all that experience and returning guys. And then you got, like you said, the talent level. But Bo, I wouldn't discount them when they get to that point, because if they're 4-1, riding high, have some confidence, I mean, they could upset a team or two. I'm not counting that out.
Well, if you want to talk history, that happens even with teams that aren't that great sometimes at Arkansas, right? And I'm not saying this team's great, but they're better than what they've been. But it seems like Arkansas is good for an upset at home about on an annual basis of somebody.
Well, yep, absolutely. And on the road last year, they got darn close, but it's just different. You know, this team's different. And what I am worried about, guys, and I do want to ask this, what is this team going to have to do? Because I know Landon Jackson's getting chipped and all this, but I don't think he's a true pass rusher to begin with. I think his strength is against the run. What are we going to do? We're going to have to come after some people. Don't you guys think? Because I don't know if we got guys that can just go get the quarterback. I think we got more, just studs as far as stopping the run there on the D-line. Anyways, what you guys think about that? Y'all have a good one.
Got to get more pass rush. I don't think there's any doubt about that. The one thing that I noticed coming out of that Auburn game was that guy threw 4 picks. You don't throw 4 picks if you're not pressured, unless you're really terrible, and I don't think he's terrible. So, the key to forcing turnovers, putting pressure on the quarterback. Got to do that. However you have to do it.
Yeah.
We did. And I think they will.
We did, and I tried to play this earlier, get some questions about Landon Jackson. And let me see if we can hear what Pittman said yesterday.
I think what's happening with him, I think you're seeing that he's getting chipped a bunch. This team slid to him a lot in pass protection, which means you basically are double teaming him. When they didn't, they were coming off and chipping him. So until somebody else sparks, the people going, man, I got to really worry about that guy. They're going to continue to do that. Now, T. Will can take some pressure off him with some internals and do some things like that. It's just like Oklahoma State with their kid. They were twisting him inside and all that, trying to get him away from that action, those doubles, those chips. We've done some of that with him as well. But he's played really good defensive against the run. He just hadn't got to the quarterback yet, but I think that's coming.
So that's Pittman yesterday. All right, well, Sterling's coming up next. We got Sterling in Center Ridge, but we got to take a break. 877-377-6963, 744 Tuesday morning on the Chuck and Bo Show.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Everyone remembers the Florida A&M game, and later became known here in Pulaski County as Rattlergate.
It seems like everything is more expensive this year, but replacing your AC doesn't have to be. If you need to replace your AC this summer, before you commit, price check with Paschal. You can save money and use the professionals to replace your system. Enjoy the peace of mind knowing you chose the best option for your home. Visit gopaschal.com and with just a few clicks, see how much you can save with the Paschal price check. Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
First Security is about more than great banking. Yes, we provide the financial expertise, digital tools, and everything else you need when you need it. But we also go all in on local support with friendly professionals, plus convenient locations all across the state. Because we believe personal banking is better banking. Visit fsbank.com for details. That's fsbank.com for friendly local banking with First Security. Bank better. Member FDIC.
Fayetteville Auto Park has been Northwest Arkansas's premier automotive dealer for a long time. There's a reason for that. It starts with great brands: Acura, Chevrolet, Honda, Toyota. Plus, they've got a huge pre-owned inventory. They've got an on-site collision center. And that really is what makes them your one-stop automotive headquarters. The best brands, the best people, the best service, and the best selection. Whatever your automotive needs, Fayetteville Auto Park.
Brew Pig Suey is back. The Arkansas Razorbacks Outdoor Beer Festival is almost here and will be held prior to the Razorback football game on September 14th versus UAB. The festival will be held on the west lawn of Bud Walton Arena from 11 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. and features 25-plus breweries, a live DJ, local food trucks, and more. Tickets start at just $50 and include a limited edition tasting cup, unlimited pours, and more, with all proceeds from the event benefiting Arkansas Edge NIL. Visit ArkansasRazorbacks.com for more information.
With Oaklawn Sports, the action never stops and the season is never over. It's now easier than ever to wager on your favorite sports all year long. Go from football to basketball to baseball to golf. Bet on what you want, when you want, with the brand you trust. Oaklawn Sports even offers ways to bet on cricket, rugby, table tennis, and more. If it's a sport, chances are you can wager on it. Plus, it's now simpler to deposit and withdraw money from your account. Bet all year long with Oaklawn Sports, Arkansas's best sports betting app. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
I always enjoy talking about Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company. If you followed my radio career, you remember they were partners on the original sports rap radio program over 20 years ago. We've done business together from an advertising perspective, but more importantly, they've been my partners in buying and selling homes. I'd recommend them to anybody. They're in Northwest Arkansas, the River Valley, and in Branson. Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company, turning houses into homes since 1978.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
You hear that? You hear that?
Back to Save Sports Radio.
Work now, pay later with sizzling savings at WT Equipment. No money down, no interest, and no payments until 2025 on select New Holland equipment. Choose 0 for 60 or up to 10,000 cash back plus free net wrap on roll belt round balers. 0 for 72 or up to 10,000 cash back on mid-range tractors, or 0 for 72 plus an additional 2,000 cash back on a new compact. Work smarter with no money down, no interest, and no payments on your choice of the summer's hottest deals at WT Equipment, your partner in progress.
The best things in life never change. They just get better, like Hardee's Original Bag, just $6.99. Loaded with fries, a drink, and 2 full-size favorites. A juicy charbroiled double cheeseburger, melty hot ham and cheese sandwich, or crispy hand-breaded chicken tender wrap. Choose any 2 plus fries and a drink, all only $6.99. Hardee's Original Bag, loaded with handcrafted goodness. It's the greatest meal deal for your buck. Available for a limited time at participating restaurants.
Ready to explore beyond the beaten path? Discover the Range Rover lineup at Land Rover of Little Rock. Experience handcrafted luxury with the capability to take on any adventure. The elegant Range Rover offers unmatched performance and first-class luxury. The Range Rover is built for every journey. Visit Land Rover of Little Rock today and explore our incredible Range Rover selection. Plus, take advantage of our promotions and recently revamped service department. Visit us at 25 Colonel Glenn Plaza Drive or log on at LandRoverLittleRock.com.
The spring allergy and hay fever seasons are here, and Law's Drugstore has what you need to safely take care of you and your family. Law's Drugstore can fill and refill your prescriptions, and they have all of the over-the-counter allergy remedies to provide comfort. Call 452-6116 and ask about vaccine shot appointment for shingles, pneumonia, COVID, and whooping cough. Law's Drugstore, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind the Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drugstore, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
I got it. Chuck.
Good.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show. Back to Save Sports Radio.
Sterling's in Center Ridge. Sterling, welcome into the Chuck and Bo Show. Good morning, buddy.
Good morning, guys. And I hate, sometimes I try not to call in when I'm in total agreement with you guys, because shows are a lot better when you have a little debate, a little disagreement. But that game, what that game has done for me is give me a much better outlook on the rest of this season. And like you were saying earlier, assuming that the top 10 teams that are currently ranked in the top 10, that's left on our schedule, are really that good. There's no reason not to believe that you can beat A&M and Auburn and LSU, and you had no reason. I mean, and you would think that you're going to clean up the turnovers, the dropping the ball, and that one, the pick six. I give Oklahoma State a little credit for that. They hit him as he was throwing the football, and so sometimes the other team make plays too. But like the special teams mistakes, I would look for that to be cleaned up. Whether that mean him doing better on the field or him sitting on the bench, I look for that to be cleaned up. And I look for this team to be a whole lot better than I thought. Y'all said it beforehand, but I had to pretend like I was from Missouri and had to see something first. But y'all just thinking right. This is a good football team. If they stay healthy, they can be a dangerous football team. And I guess my one question to y'all is, can you see them beating one of the, and like I said, assuming that the big dogs are really big dogs, the Missouri, the Ole Miss, Tennessee, and Texas, can you see Arkansas winning one of those games? Do you see that as a possibility?
I do.
I don't think we know what either team's going to look like until we get there. But right now, if you were to say to me, do I think that Arkansas is going to get blown out in any of those games? No, I don't think so. There's a confidence that comes from winning, and if you can win at Auburn, you can beat A&M. I mean, I think the outlook begins to change.
Well, Missouri's got a couple interesting games coming up, by the way. Boston College and Vanderbilt. That didn't look like interesting games earlier. And the point is, to what you're saying, Chuck, things change. I base my opinion on, can Arkansas knock one of those teams off just based on what we've seen in the past? It seems like almost no matter what kind of year they have, they're going to play somebody tough, maybe beat them that they're not supposed to beat at home. The question really about the bowl game and beyond for me is, can they play to the level that you and I seem to think they're capable of in winnable games and win those games, which they obviously didn't finish off at Oklahoma State. That would have been one of those opportunities.
Well, that's going to tell the story, and it always does. Do you beat the teams you're supposed to beat? You don't want to be one of those teams, and we've been one at times, that will pull off an upset here and there, but struggles to beat the teams they're supposed to beat.
Right.
And first off, that's what gets you fired as a coach. It's not losing the big games necessarily, although if there's a pattern there, that'll get you. But it's not beating the teams you're supposed to beat. And that's what ruins seasons. But it's also what makes seasons. Coach Pittman said something yesterday that I think is important. It would have been nice if they'd had a little bit better opponent. And, the head coach not the one that does the scheduling all the time. And there's, pressure that comes to bear when it comes to scheduling a lot of in-state schools. But it would have been nice if you'd had a better opponent before you played Oak State.
The opener. Ryan in Fort Smith, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show. Hey, Ryan.
Hey, how are y'all guys?
Good.
Hey, this is the biggest thing I've got to say to all the Arkansas fans out there is this game was the first test that we've had, and y'all talked about that. The UAPB game was a fluff game. Our red-white game was more of a game than the UAPB game. And everybody knows the saying that you improve from the first game to the second game the most. So you can't tell me that our first true game was this Saturday against Oklahoma State. So everybody needs to take a chill pill and calm down and let the mental mistakes get big. And then judge this team. Because I've watched football my whole life, and this is a football team. They're pretty good. And in the years past, it wasn't mental mistakes. It was the lack of coaching and the lack of talent. And this team doesn't lack either one of those. So let's get the mental mistakes out of the way. And let's see what this team does in the next week or two. And then let's go from there and then judge this football team.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
Have a great day. Chuck, today's National TV Dinner Day.
I saw that.
Don't have dinner plans.
The Swanson action.
It's just
Hungry Man. Swanson Hungry Man TV dinner.
Salisbury steak.
That's exactly
Right out of
right.
the aluminum
Whipped
foil.
potatoes.
Yeah.
Not mashed, whipped.
Let's do it. National TV Dinner Day, and happy birthday to the late Arnold Palmer. It's the Chuck and Bo Show. We're approaching 8 o'clock. Matt Miller's going to join us at 8:30. ESPN NFL draft analyst and insider had some impressive comments about Taylon Green. We'll get to that coming up on the Chuck and Bo Show. Man, I've got some good news. Sweatinum Cosmetic is not just for females. Turns out us guys want to look and feel good too. Why be tired, lethargic, and overweight when we don't have to be? Sure, diet and exercise matter, but there can also be a lot more going on. For example, low testosterone is a real thing among many adult males, not just the old guys. I've heard about the weight loss shots and the low T ads before, and I've been skeptical. But then I stopped by my friend's office, Dr. Jeff Sweatinum. He showed me around that first-class facility and said, here's what we're doing for guys. It's called the Sweatinum Edge. You make an appointment, get a free evaluation covering 4 potential issues: hormones, weight loss, hair loss, and skin. Find out where you are and decide if treatment is right for you. Log on to SweatinumCosmetic.com, SweatinumCosmetic.com, and click on the Sweatinum Edge, or call 479-966-4174 and tell them you heard about the Sweatinum Edge on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Oaklawn is your hot springs escape.
Enjoy plush comfort, upscale dining, and Arkansas's only Forbes 4-star rated spa at our luxury hotel. And with easy access to Hot Springs National Park and sparkling lakes, Oaklawn is your home base for everything the region has to offer. Come stay, play, and get away at Oaklawn, a Forbes Travel Guide recommended hotel. Make your reservation at oaklawn.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
Flight by Yuengling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yuengling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass. Raise the bar. Flight by Yuengling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yuengling and Son Incorporated. Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey, I'm Taylor Green, Arkansas QB, and these two guys definitely have a face for radio.
Arkansas is special. Our people are honest and hardworking. The Brad Hendricks Law Firm is pure Arkansas. We were raised here, we live here, and we're straight shooters. Unfortunately, out-of-state lawyers who care nothing about Arkansas are advertising for your legal business. They don't understand that you don't hand Arkansans a pile of cow dung and try to tell us it's a rose. Don't be just a number. Call the Brad Hendricks Law Firm. Tradition, reputation, results.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, weather stays pretty quiet and warm. We may start to see some tropical moisture begin from Francine by Thursday. Sunshine today, a high this afternoon, mid to upper 80s, mainly clear sky tonight, low to mid 60s. Sunny on Wednesday with our high in the upper 80s to near 90. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by In Good Spirits, Fort Smith's premier source for fine wines, specialty beers, and liquor.
Man, I wish I knew you were here. We hear that every day at In Stock Parts, located off Highway 45 across from the cold storage in Fort Smith. Are you a maintenance technician, landscaper, farmer, or do-it-yourselfer and need a bearings, belts, or roller chain? Or safety supplies like gloves, safety glasses, or earplugs? Maybe you need drill bits, tap and die sets, lubricants, or even a gas-powered pump or generator. Don't waste your time driving around. Stop by In Stock Parts, your industrial parts resource, or check them out online at InStockParts.com. In Stock Parts.
Walk-Ons is always a win, whether it's for a post-game celebration, drinks with the crew, or an easy weeknight dinner. Walk-Ons has you covered. Scratch-made dishes, wall-to-wall TVs, craft beers and cocktails. Dig into their mouth-watering menu items like po' boys, gumbo, and voodoo shrimp, plus fan favorites like juicy burgers and fresh salads. Find your nearest location in Rogers, Fayetteville, Fort Smith, Conway, and Little Rock, or order online or in the app. Walk-On Sports Bistro for the win.
You're listening to ESPN 95.3, KERX Paris, Fort Smith.
You sound like a participation trophy, Dad.
This is Chuck Fawcett with Chuck Foster Realty. When I have an HVAC problem or a plumbing problem, I call 782-8940. That's 782-8940. Blaylock Heating and Air.
So to have a red truck rolling your way today, give us a call. That's Blaylock Heating and Air Conditioning for all of your heating, cooling, plumbing, and drain cleaning needs and great York Home products. It's just one number you need to know. That's 782-8940.
Arkansas Fuel Injection in Fort Smith has been providing quality work for all new and rebuilt diesel pumps and injectors for over 25 years. They are a certified diesel shop with a team of quality technicians that ensure the highest quality workmanship and warranties all their work. They are open Monday through Friday 8 to 5 and has emergency service available 24 hours a day. For all your diesel pump, fuel injection, and parts needs, stop by Arkansas Fuel Injection, 6300 South 29th Street, Fort Smith. Call them today at 1-800-817-7709. Arkansas Fuel Injection.
Hey, Hog fans, this is Elizabeth.
This is Robert. And this is Matt, and we're with the Stadium Shop on Razorback.
Folks, it's the most wonderful time of the year.
No, it's not Christmas yet.
No, Mom, he's referring to football season.
Oh, speaking of football, guess what we just got in?
Season tickets?
Sideline passes?
Well, close. We just started receiving the Nike sideline apparel like hats,
hats, and polos.
Yeah, but did we get jerseys?
Yeah, we got both kinds, cardinal and white.
We also have youth and adult sizes.
That's great. People have been asking for that for quite some time now. Matt, by the way, I did some research, and there's no shot for going viral.
Oh, Lord. Mom, he's a goner.
Anyway, besides Nike, we also have Champion, Cutter & Buck, Tommy Bahama, and many other brands.
All at the largest Razorback store south of the North Pole, which is 989 South Razorback Road, next to Baumwalker Stadium. Matt, you tell them all about them interweb-based grams.
He means the website, which is shop on Razorback.com.
Or give us a call at 479-STADIUM. That's 479-782-3486.
Folks, it does not get more Razorback than us.
Go Hogs!
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
Previously heard on Chuck and Bo.
How long are you going to keep making the same mental mistakes? You know what the definition of insanity is, don't you, Bo?
You know what I don't have? I don't have a killer instinct.
That was so bad, Bart's got to get fired. Bart, you're fired. Bo screwed it up so bad, you're fired.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
That was a call play, and I called it, Chuck.
A show of record for Razorback fans.
I'm ready to roll right now, Bo.
Can you believe we're doing this? Just like old times.
This is getting ridiculous, Bo Mattingly.
Northwest Arkansas is growing. It deserves an intelligent sports radio.
Two ball play guys with a face for radio.
That's right.
Presented by First Security Bank. By Kurt Realtors, The Griffin Company. Pasco Air, Plumbing and Electric. Flight by Yingling and Fayetteville Auto Park. And now, Chuck and Bo.
Bart actually survived.
Yeah. Well, the network executives have called and they want to know if you can do The Apprentice.
Did you like the way I said that?
Yeah,
I said it with a lot of gusto.
Oh, you had it. That was straight
that's
from
a
the
stepping
gut.
stone. That's a stepping stone to bigger things, you know. Who knows?
Yeah, your agent is he's busy today.
Yeah. 877-377-6963 is the number. Let's just go right back to the phones as we begin the 8 o'clock hour. Patrick's on the line in Stuttgart. Patrick, welcome to the Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Hey, so I remember yesterday you guys mentioned sort of a statistic where over since 2022 Arkansas has lost like 8 of 10 games by one score or less, and I think in a way that's kind of misleading and kind of gives into this thing where people get caught up in the moment a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you go back to 2021 when Sam had his best season, we were winning those close games. So if you throw in, 2021, that kind of evens out a little bit more. And then you got to keep in mind what happened in 2022, last year, 2023, where basically, again, we had an inept offense that couldn't run, it couldn't pass block, it couldn't pass, it couldn't do anything. And so we lost a lot of those close games because of that. And so now we fixed that. And again, now everybody's kind of freaking out because we had an opportunity last week to win a key game against a ranked opponent and we lost. But as everybody's been kind of saying, if that's fixable, if that's something we can fix, I don't necessarily think we have to fear any team on our schedule, even Tennessee and Ole Miss. Ole Miss hasn't played anybody. And Tennessee's been tested, true, but, how these things go. Like a year ago, Alabama lost its second game of the season and then got it together. They gelled at the right time and went on to go to the national championship game. So, it's a long season. There's a lot of things that can play out, and fans just can't get caught up in the most recent thing and kind of start freaking out about it.
Patrick, thanks for I don't mean just because of your opinion, but thanks for being thoughtful. I mean, that's just so well said. It's not the same team. It's not the same way that they lost the game. You can add up one score games and say they're all one score games. And so here's the record of one score games. But if you don't include the details or the context to how those games played out or what kind of team you had, you're not really giving the information. You're just giving a stat. Like, stats are really not that important. Just like Arkansas having 600 plus yards doesn't mean they won the game. Like, there's more details to it than that. And oftentimes they were just hanging around in a game. And then finally the other team said, all right, we'll finish them off because they were way better. And they finished them off. Arkansas was the better team in this game. We all felt like that. That was different. That was unusual. And that can't continue. But if you're just saying that Sam Pittman's a lousy coach because he's lost a bunch of one-score games, I think you're leaving a whole lot of information out.
Well, I know what DJ said earlier, you played the cut, about how lots of times when Arkansas has lost these one-score games, they've not been the better team. The other guys have been the better team. They piddled around and, as you just said a minute ago, pulled it together at the end, won the game. It is different this time because, let's just be honest, in a lot of the losses over the last several years, we've not walked away saying, man, we had that game won. We've not said that. We came away from Stillwater saying, man, we had that game won. Now, it's not the same as winning. It's not. And it's not okay to make it out to be like that. But I do think they're further along than maybe they were, maybe they are in a lot of people's eyes. Rick's in Fayetteville. Rick, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Hey, Rick.
It's a real privilege. It's a privilege to talk with you guys, and I love the Razorbacks. But I got to say something. There is a spirit in the air back here in the Ozarks. These Razorbacks have their head up. They're playing football on both sides of the line of scrimmage. The offense is clicking, and when they get it on, they can mess up a defense so bad and put points on the board. Like in 30 seconds, they can go 80 yards. I'm just excited about this new season. Our old coaches, our new offensive plays. Guys, on top of the mountain, the Razorbacks look like the sky's the limit. They just got to stop making some critical errors. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Thanks, Rick. I agree with that.
Well, I do too. And I realize that there are going to be those who, don't. And here's the thing, and maybe someday we'll get to this point where, we can disagree about what they're doing without going crazy and without necessarily calling for somebody's job. And I don't mean to sound like somebody who's naive, but I went to games throughout my childhood, my youth, lucky to get to go. And some of the games Arkansas won, some of the games they lost. I don't recall until I was probably 30 years old, walking to the car after a game and hearing the chorus from people that someone's got to be fired. Someone's got to be fired. They need to fire so-and-so. I can remember games that were heartbreaking losses, but I don't remember, and we didn't have talk radio then. Maybe I'd have heard it, but I don't remember hearing everyone call for somebody to be fired after every time there's a loss. That's something that's happened over the last 20, 25 years.
Well, also, can we get to the point that if you have an opinion that is not negative, it doesn't mean that you're a sunshine pumper or you're a propaganda person? Like,
well, that's not ever going to change.
Dang, did Bo think he'd be in full propaganda mode by week 2? What is the propaganda, Seth and Rogers? Like, and then he comes back with answer this. You eat at a restaurant, the head chef sent out poor food. The next year they change a manager and they have a new menu, but the same chef. Do you go back? Do you base your opinion on the new menu or the chef? Well, like, that's, again, you're leaving out all kind of details. I mean, is the chef an expert at what he's making? Did he get new ingredients? Did they get a better food delivery service? Do they have better service overall? Did he hire new kitchen people to help out where before that was a struggle? I mean, like that's the point. Like, we can't, like, I don't mean to, this is going to sound bad, but it's like, it feels so lazy to not think through those things. Like, I'm not saying you have to have my opinion. I'm saying think through all the details. Don't just give me some of them. And when we just stop at, oh, well, it was this way last year and they've lost close games. Like, part of that's us as media have to educate more on what we get access to and can explain. Like, that's part of the job. But like, as a fan base, let's try to have a smarter conversation. Then, you know what? Sam Pittman sucks. That's the problem. Like they just went out and made a bunch of offseason moves in a difficult portal NIL time to compete with people who have so much more money. And when I turned on the TV on Saturday, I was like, dang, those guys look like they belong. They look like they belong in a top 25 game. And I'm having a hard time not hearing anybody say that. Like, no credit for that? Like, that's a job. For all of these people that are like, oh, Sam can't do this, he can't do that. I don't know how the year's going to go. I can give you my thoughts, but I mean, I know they went out and had a heck of an offseason. I mean, that's just true. All right, let's
take
go
a
back.
breath.
Yeah.
Griff's on the line in Fayetteville. Griff, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Oxygen, please.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good.
Hey, I want to chime in. So I think Sam Pittman is a heck of a coach, done a great job, especially, in his first head coaching stretch, but it's just little pieces. And I feel like that's what's driving us crazy is we have the talent, we've got the team, we've got the effort, but it's just little penalties. A bad snap here and there. It seems like over the years, you can almost guarantee it. And if you're going to be an underdog or a little bit of we're not getting the recruits Alabama is, and we never will. But in football, you can compete, but you cannot make mistakes. Especially as Arkansas, we're not going to get away with that. And I think it's just almost every game we're right there. We'll be in the game, and then if it's 4 false starts in one drive or a botched snap or something, but it's just discipline. I feel like discipline is the one thing that Sam Pittman may be lacking a little bit of with his team. Oh, ain't nothing left.
Well, I mean, you gotta build it. You gotta learn it. You gotta get there. You gotta correct the mistakes. If they continue to make the same mistakes all year long, I think we can talk about discipline. But in one game, the toughest game of the season through 2, and really their opener, I think that's a good point. When everybody said they didn't play a team at all in Pine Bluff, and they went out and they executed. But now the bullets are real. Like those were real bullets they played against Oklahoma State, and it got to them at times. And let's see how they handle that and what kind of corrections they make. Cecil and Fort Smith, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show. Good morning.
Good morning, fellas. I just jumped in the truck and I heard a gentleman call before this last call, and I'm understanding what he's saying. If the Razorbacks, Sam Presti, OKC, okay. Arkansas, whoever's making moves up there, the athletic director, he's making some moves, some positive moves, because we do have a better team. It's just like watching a rerun. It's not a rerun this year. It's another movie. And we do have a really good team. So just be patient. Don't trip out and don't disregard the team like some people do. Get on there because we make a mistake. We made a mistake. We made several mistakes. But we got excuse my French, we have a damn good football team. And we're going to be competitive this year. I don't know what bowl we would go to, but we would go to a bowl, and those bowl committees will have the University of Arkansas to play in their bowl game and come to their city because we travel. Bobby Petrino took me to New Orleans. I had a great seat, 3rd row in the end zone. He took me to Dallas, to the Cotton Bowl. He took me to Memphis. I was there. I traveled. Those are vacations during the yearly year. And I appreciate it. And I'll hang up. Y'all have a blessed day.
Thanks, Cecil. 877-377-6963. Jimmy's in Fort Smith. Jimmy, go ahead.
Guys, we asked for years to have Bobby Petrino's offense back. We asked for that for years. But people have a short memory because I love Coach Petrino's offense, but when Coach Petrino was here, the one thing we all complained about was Willie Robinson's defense. We have the best of both worlds right now because we have the offense back, but now we have a defense. Coach Pittman's responsible for that. So while we made some mental mistakes on Saturday, now we have the offense and we have the defense. We've got a dang good football team. So we just have to be patient. This team's going to win a lot of ball games, and this is just year one. And we are going to go to a bowl game, but let's see what happens this year and then going into next year. I'm excited about the future of Razorback football. We're 2 games in. The sky's not falling. Things are exciting in Razorback land. So just give it a rest and let's see what happens.
Jimmy, thanks for your call. Let's get one more in before the break. Josh is in Harrison. Josh, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. I just got a few quick little points. I feel like sometimes as a we're like talking out both sides of our mouth. Like it doesn't matter who you're playing. The guys went 10 for 10. We had a perfect – there's nothing else that we could have done better. We were flawless. We had hardly any penalties. And now all of a sudden, because some guys make some mental mistakes, and yes, they cost us the game. Now we're like, let's fire. Let's hang them. And hey, I blame Sam Pittman for last year. The Dan Enos hire was a horrible hire. I think he's overrated, just like Jimbo Fisher. But we also, as fans, have to understand that we're not Georgia. We're not ever going to be Georgia, and we're still right in line to be an 8-win team. And I think that's our expectation. We need to win at least half of our SEC games and win all our non-conference. And of course, now we're going to have to make up for that. But I mean, we really need to look at what our program is. And I think we have the coaching staff that can get us to where we need to be. I mean, there's no doubt Bobby Petrino has his handprint on this offense. So that's just kind of what I got to say, guys. I thank you for taking my call.
All right. Thanks for your call. We got them lined up. We're going to get back to the phones in just a moment. Got to get a quick break in. You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show. It's 8:17. Good morning.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
I think that having Brian, allowing him to call in occasionally, is a healthy reminder of why you don't like Texas.
First Security is about more than great banking. Yes, we provide the financial expertise, digital tools, and everything else you need when you need it. But we also go all in on local support with friendly professionals, plus convenient locations all across the state. Because we believe personal banking is better banking. Visit fsbank.com for details. That's fsbank.com for friendly local banking with First Security. Bank better. Member FDIC.
I always enjoy talking about Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company. If you followed my radio career, you remember they were partners on the original Sports Rap radio program over 20 years ago. We've done business together from an advertising perspective, but more importantly, they've been my partners in buying and selling homes. I'd recommend them to anybody. They're in Northwest Arkansas, the River Valley, and in Branson. Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company, turning houses into homes since 1978.
Man, I've got some good news. Sweatinum Cosmetic is not just for females. Turns out us guys want to look and feel good too. Why be tired, lethargic, and overweight when we don't have to be? Sure, diet and exercise matter, but there could also be a lot more going on. For example, low testosterone is a real thing among many adult males, not just the old guys. I've heard about the weight loss shots and the low T ads before, and I've been skeptical. But then I stopped by my friend's office, Dr. Jeff Sweatinum. He showed me around that first-class facility and said, here's what we're doing for guys. It's called the Sweatinum Edge. You make an appointment, get a free evaluation covering 4 potential issues: hormones, weight loss, hair loss, and skin. Find out where you are and decide if treatment is right for you. Log on to SweatinumCosmetic.com, SweatinumCosmetic.com, and click on the Sweatinum Edge, or call 479-966-4174 and tell them you heard about the Sweatinum Edge on the Chuck and Bo Show.
You say, well, that's a tough thing to say. Well, we live in a tough world.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey, Hog fans, this is Elizabeth.
This is Robert.
And this is Matt, and we're with the Stadium Shop on Razorback.
Folks, it's the most wonderful time of the year.
No, it's not Christmas yet.
No, Mom, he's referring to football season.
Oh, speaking of football, guess what we just got in?
Season tickets?
Sideline passes?
Well, close. We just started receiving the Nike sideline apparel like hats and polos.
Yeah, but did we get jerseys?
Yeah, we got both kinds, cardinal and white.
We also have youth and adult sizes.
That's great. People have been asking for that for quite some time now. Matt, by the way, I did some research, and there's no shot for going viral.
Oh, Lord. Mom, he's a goner.
Anyway, besides Nike, we also have Champion, Cutter & Buck, Tommy Bahama, and many other brands.
All at the largest Razorback store south of the North Pole, which is 989 South Razorback Road, next to Baumwalker Stadium. Matt, you tell them all about them interweb-based grams.
He means the website, which is shop on Razorback.com.
Or give us a call at 479-STADIUM. That's 479-782-3486.
Folks, it does not get more Razorback than us.
Go Hogs!
Heart to Heart Pregnancy and Family Care Center's Battle of the Golden Bottle continues into September. For the month of September, Danielle Emery, Allstate and Summit Insurance Advisors will be battling for the Golden Bottle. Whoever collects more diapers, baby wipes, formula, and cash for Heart to Heart Pregnancy and Family Care Center will win the Golden Bottle. Be sure to stop in at one of these locations to help families here in the River Valley and to help your team win the Golden Bottle. Follow Heart to Heart Pregnancy and Family Care Center on Facebook for all your battle updates. Every penny counts.
This is Chuck Fawcett with Chuck Fawcett Realty. When I have an HVAC problem or a plumbing problem, I call 782-8940. That's 782-8940. Blaylock Heating and Air.
So to have a red truck rolling your way today, give us a call. That's Blaylock Heating and Air Conditioning for all of your heating, cooling, plumbing, and drain cleaning needs and great York Home products. It's just one number you need to know. That's 782-8940.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
I got it. There we go. I got
it. You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show. Listen anywhere at hitthatline.com or the Hit That Line Now app. And now, Chuck and Bo.
Chuck and Bo brought to you by First Security Bank, Pasco Air Plumbing and Electric, Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company, the Fayetteville Auto Park, and Flight by Yingling. Brandon's in Fayetteville. It's 8:22. Brandon, good morning.
Yeah, hey, Bo. I just wanted to talk about what you were saying about the critical thinking in our fan base. And really, I think you've seen an erosion in critical thinking kind of across the landscape. I think a lot of it has to do with social media. Social media just breeds, it relies on brevity and anonymity, and that just breeds negativity. And I think that's why you see a lot more negativity just about kind of everything in the world. Unfortunately, the way it is bad news sells. Negative hot takes get the most attention. And I think that has trickled down into everything, especially college sports.
I mean, it's a good point. And Chuck, I've seen this a bunch since the game. Should we be happy that we lost? What do you want? A moral victory? A participation trophy? Haven't we had enough moral victories? No, you shouldn't be happy that you lost. That's not the conversation. Nobody's happy they lost. The question is, what did we learn? If we're going to talk about what it means from here, or is the program in good shape or bad shape, that's a little bit deeper of a conversation. And I think our point has been that we saw positive things, some things that need to be corrected, but looks like they can go win some more games this year.
Well, I think they can. I think a lot of the social media stuff he's talking about, so much of that's just following the narrative. I was reading one of the social media, these I call them clickbait sites. Their post-game take.
Yeah.
And anybody who watched the game, who can click on an internet site and look up some stats, could have written what I was reading. There was nothing there. And what takes were there were simply repeating what they had read on social media from fans during the course of the game. So I think that a lot of the articles, if you want to use that term, that appear on social media under the guise of, being written by actual reporters, are being written by fans underneath the heading of a banner. And a lot of the information is just bad information. And it is narrative information. People are not, there's not critical thinking in a lot of the things that go out on social media. And I'm not anti-social media. It's certainly got a place, as you've known. I don't know as much about it as some people, but it certainly has its place. But there's a lot of stuff you got to sift through. That's always been my issue with it, frankly. There's just so much crap out there.
That's
you
right.
don't know what's what.
Well, it's true. Dustin's in Cedarville. Go ahead, Dustin. You're on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Hey.
Hey, I been hearing a lot of guys calling, talking about discipline and mental mistakes. It's been a long time since we've had that to complain about. And I've been in those high pressure situations. No, I've not played games in front of 80,000 fans, but it's sometimes hard to keep your head in those high pressure situations when you're out there just trying to make a play. yeah, we've got things to work on, but this team is much improved. Excited to watch them the rest of the way. It's going to be a great season. I appreciate you guys taking my call.
Appreciate you, man. Thanks for the call. Hope in Springdale. You're on the Chuck and Bo Show. Good morning.
Good morning. And I really enjoyed your show, listened from the first day. And I just want to say that personally, I think Sam Pittman is just now coming into his own. If anybody starts a new role that they've never had before, it takes them really mostly 2 or 3 years probably to grow into that role. And I think that that's what's happening to him. I think he's a good man, and I think we have a good team, and I think that we need to support him instead of all this negativity. And I just want to thank you for taking my call.
Thanks,
Thank you, Hope. Let's go to Jeremy in Tulsa. Jeremy, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey, Chuck and Bo, how are you guys this morning?
Doing great. How are you?
Wonderful.
Good. It's an honor to talk to you guys. I'm talking to 2 celebrities, it feels like. So,
Well, just imagine how we feel talking to you.
Now you realize you're not that when you turn on the Manning cast and Adam Sandler's your guest. Routinely.
Yeah.
I was like, man, there's 3 celebrities right there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, thank you guys for taking my call. I just, I have a couple of comments if you guys don't mind. You know, after this OSU game, I hear a lot of Arkansas fans, like, they want to go on social media or they want to call into radio shows and they want to talk about how bad Oklahoma State is. And my perspective on it is, why do we want Oklahoma State to be bad? One, I don't agree with it. I think it's an irrational and emotional take. But, like, coming from an Arkansas perspective, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't it look a lot better if we, let's say, 7, 8, 9 weeks down the road, Oklahoma State's in Big 12 contention, therefore in college football talk. And when we look back at week 2, we say, man, Oklahoma State's contending for a college football playoff. We went to Stillwater, obviously on the road, and dang near won the football game versus 6, 7 weeks down the road, Oklahoma State only has a couple more wins and they're not very good. Like, the loss at Oklahoma State looks a lot more respectable the better Oklahoma State does. Is that correct? Like the takes I'm hearing from some Hog fans, like are doing the opposite of what they're trying to do, if that makes sense. And my last point, and then I'll hang up and listen to you guys, is Taylon Green. I mean, I'll be honest, I was pretty skeptical coming into the season just because in my head, like someone who had struggles at Boise State with 11 touchdowns, 9 picks last season. You know, he got benched, came back. Like, I was a little skeptical in the sense of them coming to Arkansas and the SEC and taking us to where we want to go. But after 2 weeks, I'm eating my own words, and I'm really loving what I'm seeing from him. I think there's still a lot of growth with some of his passing and accuracy, but man, from what I've seen, like he is like a stallion out there. He has a strong arm. So yeah, I feel like I'm wrong on that take, and I absolutely love it. I hope he does great, and I wish Arkansas the best. And Chuck and Bo, thank you guys for giving me a floor and a platform, and I will hang up and listen. Thank you guys.
Yeah, thanks, Jeremy. We'll get into that Oklahoma State take later, but we're going to get into Taylon Green next because Matt Miller's an ESPN NFL draft analyst and insider. He's got some thoughts on Taylon, Bobby Petrino, what Taylon is as a quarterback and how the NFL is seeing him. So we'll get an outside take on that when we come back on the Chuck and Bo Show.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Guys, first and foremost, congratulations on the official launch of the Chuck and Bo Show. I want to know, how did you guys decide which name went first, Chuck or Bo? Was that a flip of a coin?
Arkansas's one-stop automotive shop is right around the corner. Fayetteville Auto Park. FayettevilleAutoPark.com. Chevy, Toyota, Honda, Acura, Collision Center, all in one place. And if you're shopping pre-owned, Fayetteville Auto Park has you covered. With so many new cars sold, we always have a great selection of fresh trades. Why settle for anything less than the best? Fayetteville Auto Park, West Showroom Drive in Fayetteville. Proud sponsor of the Chuck and Bo Show.
It seems like everything is more expensive this year, but replacing your AC doesn't have to be. If you need to replace your AC this summer, before you commit, price check with Paschal. You can save money and use the professionals to replace your system. Enjoy the peace of mind knowing you chose the best option for your home. Visit gopascal.com and with just a few clicks, see how much you can save with the Paschal Price Check. Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Did I hear my broadcast partner talking about somebody slipping in his DM?
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insights and analysis?
Hell yeah.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line podcast network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
With everyday low prices on top brands, locally owned Jaeger's Ace Hardware is committed to offering real service with real savings. Get these red hot buys at any of our 4 locations. 5-gallon fruit trees, oak and maple trees, only $26.97. That's a savings of $9 per tree. Get a DeWalt 20-volt max brushed compact drill and impact driver kit with 2 batteries, carrying case, and bonus bit set for only $159 with your Ace Rewards card. Find more everyday low prices online at JaegersHardware.com.
Greatness doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, focus, and dedication. At Shelter Insurance, we understand that because we put in the hard work and dedication for decades. And that commitment is paid off with award-winning customer service for your auto, home, and life insurance.
See Agent Chris Dooley in Fort Smith.
Summertime in Arkansas means pond and creek fishing, and nothing catches bass and bluegill in a pond like a Rebel Crick Hopper. You can twitch it, pop it, walk it, and swim it. It's the ultralight fishing lure that looks and acts like a real grasshopper. The Crick Hopper works great in tandem with light spinning rods and reels with 4 or 6 pound fishing line. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle shops everywhere. The Rebel Crick Hopper.
When I go out to eat, I want something fresh. I don't want something that's been sitting in a freezer or processed. When I go to Lily Sandwich Shop, I am satisfied to the max. That's because Josefa makes everything fresh and uses that River Valley farm fresh produce during her long growing season. Stop by Lily Sandwich Shop in the Bakery District and become another satisfied customer. The sandwiches speak for themselves.
My name is Lily. My Baba makes the best sandwiches at Lily Sandwich Shop. Come by and see them at the Bakery District today.
Heart-to-Heart Pregnancy and Family Care Center's Battle of the Golden Bottle continues into September. For the month of September, Danielle Emery, Allstate and Summit Insurance advisors, will be battling for the Golden Bottle. Whoever collects more diapers, baby wipes, formula, and cash for Heart-to-Heart Pregnancy and Family Care Center will win the Golden Bottle. Be sure to stop in at one of these locations to help families here in the River Valley and to help your team win the Golden Bottle. Follow Heart-to-Heart Pregnancy and Family Care Center on Facebook for all your battle updates. Every penny counts.
Hey, Hog fans, it's Todd with the Morning Rush. Join me this Saturday, September the 14th, from 10 a.m. till noon at the Stadium Shop on Razorback in Fayetteville for Arkansas Game Day. Robert, Elizabeth, and Matt at the Stadium Shop will have a buy one regular price clothing item, get one equal or lesser value, half off. The Stadium Shop on Razorback has the largest selection of Razorback merchandise south of the North Pole. It does not get more Razorback than the Stadium Shop. Arkansas Game Day live at the Stadium Shop on Razorback this Saturday from 10 a.m. till noon.
Remodeling your bathroom? Don't let your imagination be limited by out-of-the-box shower doors or tub enclosures. Arkansas Glass and Mirror is your local source for all things glass, including plexiglass, mirrors, and shower doors since 1964. Arkansas Glass and Mirror has more selections, better prices, and the experience to help you build the shower of your dreams. They also have the only showroom in the area to help you create those dreams. Professional installation and professional service. Only at Arkansas Glass and Mirror, 1316 South Zero, Fort Smith, or online at arkansasglassandmirror.com.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show. Listen anywhere at hitthatline.com or the Hit That Line Now app. And now, Chuck and Bo.
Chuck, I was watching the game and looking at Twitter, and Matt Miller, ESPN NFL draft analyst and insider, tweeted, "I'm really intrigued by Taylen Green," and Matt's joining us now. Matt, thanks for making time for us today. What intrigued you? And then later, you said you might have jinxed him after maybe it didn't go so well. But what intrigued you about Taylen Green?
That's my superpower, is to talk, say something positive or negative about a player or a team and just watch it almost immediately reverse itself. In the first half, I was watching the Texas-Michigan game as well, and kind of had the split screen thing going on. And, you see this young man, 6'6", 230 pounds. He moves exceptionally well in the pocket, outside the pocket. He's got a big arm to make throws down the field. And for this to be, first year starting in the SEC after a couple of years at Boise, it's like, okay, there's something here to be worked with. I think especially after what we saw in week 1 with his ground game ability. So the tools are absolutely there. Now, as you mentioned, I probably did jinx it because in the second half of that game, I think you saw some of his inexperience against a really good Oklahoma State team. Certainly on the interception, completion percentage dipped considerably after I talked him up, but there's still a lot of tools there that are really, really exciting.
Matt, when there's a guy that jumps off the screen at you the way Taylen did, what are the common denominators there? You mentioned size and speed. When you look at a guy and say he could be a pro, what's your criteria there?
It starts just like that. Honestly, it does. I was actually, I was telling my son this. He's 10, and we were kind of talking about my job. And I said, the first part of my job is you're watching a game, whether it be in person or on TV, and it's who looks the best out there. He and I were talking about a tight end, and sometimes it's, hey, who's the most athletic looking player out there in terms of arm length and musculature and movement ability, agility, quick twitch, flexibility, things like that are what stand out first and foremost. And that's no different now at the quarterback position. We've got in the NFL quarterbacks running more than they have in a very, very long time. The college game, because of the RPO, guys have to be able to move so much. So I think that's what stands out most. And then you follow that up with, okay, let me jump in and study this a little closer, this time of year, a lot of it is just getting those names down in a notebook so that you can go back once there's more tape to watch. But, a good example at Arkansas was I was at the Arkansas BYU game last year and watching Landon Jackson in person before the game, even just in warm-ups. He was an underclassman, a player I knew about, obviously, but hadn't really watched intently until that game. And it's like, okay, there's first-round ability here with Landon Jackson. Now, obviously, he came back for his senior season, but he's a player that now I think is routinely ranked in the top 40 among draft prospects. Luke has the tight end, another dude that just automatically jumps out when you watch him play. And so sometimes it's that simplification of who looks like they belong here, who looks like they're the best player on the field, and then you're able to kind of jump in and do a deeper dive on them.
Matt Miller, ESPN NFL draft analyst and insider. You mentioned the jump from Boise to the SEC, and we haven't even seen Taylen play quite in the SEC yet, but I think Oklahoma State's comparable to some SEC teams, especially in that road environment and all that. Can you describe what that jump is like for a guy like that?
Oh, it's huge. It's like we talked about from high school to college. I think it's the same from a group of 5 to a Power 5 is at a Power 5, you're the best player on the field. You get into the SEC specifically, you could be the best player at Boise State and you could be a backup in the SEC. It is just so different. Everyone you play on a weekly basis was the best player at their high school, and they would be the best player, in that group. So it's just, there's no drop off. We can look at the talent. Georgia and Texas are ranked 1 and 2 right now. Ole Miss is great. Alabama is great. And those guys, you just go down the depth chart and it's like every position they have a great player. There's truly not a drop off. Mizzou and Tennessee, also, both in the top 10 right now. And it's so hard to find a weakness. I was actually talking to a coach yesterday from Boston College about how do you stop this Missouri offense? He was like, well, you hope Luther Burden's sick. Like that, and that's the SEC for you is, okay, how do you stop Georgia? How do you get to Carson Beck? Or with the way Quinn Ewers is playing at Texas and all the weapons he has around him, how do you scheme to stop these guys? And I think that is the biggest difference. And it's why, it is right now, 5 teams in the top 6 are from the SEC. It's just the talent difference is crazy.
Defensive lines always seem to be what separate the great teams, particularly in our league. You talked about Landon a little bit earlier. When you evaluate an NFL defensive lineman, obviously numbers are what people go by, but what beyond the obvious, what about him makes him attractive as a potential prospect?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I think it starts with size is the big factor. To be nearly 6'6", 275 pounds, but then to run a 4.75. So you have that length, you have that size, but you have the explosiveness. With 33.5-inch arms, he's able to really dictate and control things at the line of scrimmage. He's incredibly bright. That shows up on the field with his instincts, with the reads that he makes. Coaches rave about just how intelligent he is as a football player. So that absolutely does show up. And then from there, you do look for production. I would say, in a weird way, pass rush production in college can be overrated. We will have guys who are, they're going to have 12, 13 sacks this year, but they might not have the physical tools to be NFL players. On the flip side, there are going to be guys that have 2 or 3 sacks, but have the physical tools to be great NFL players, because sometimes you're put in a scheme where, you're asked to 2-gap, you're asked to control a gap instead of just pinning your ears back and rushing the quarterback. So I don't get too caught up in pass rush stats, because they need a lot of context at the college level. But, we saw last year, and I think we'll see again this year, Landon is really a special all-around player. I know he's waiting for that first sack still this year, but, with what he did last year, he showed that, he has the ability to impact the run game, and then he can turn it on and get after the quarterback too.
Matt, I'm sure the transfer portal has changed your job just like it has coaches. I mean, you're guys move, and then maybe they become more of a prospect because they show up against tougher competition. They're on a bigger stage, all those things. But is it also changing? And I know it's not your job necessarily to analyze college football teams, but is it changing what we know or don't know about teams early in a season?
It definitely does. Yeah. I mean, it's changed my job tremendously, just trying to keep track of where everyone's at. And like you said, a guy could be, you could have been a backup at Michigan, and now you're a starter at another school. And it's like, oh, wait, I got to scramble to find out who this person was. But I do think it has allowed some teams to be better faster. I think it's, the continuity aspect certainly hurts offensive line play. I think in some ways it hurts defenses. Just because you're playing with so many new people, year over year. But I mean, I'm a fan of the transfer portal. I'm a fan of NIL. I think giving players some agency is great for college football. And it has, helped guys like a Landon Jackson. It's helped so many players be able to transfer in out Taylor Green, to find not only, it's not just about playing time. Sometimes it's about opportunity. And so to be able to find that, I think is a really good thing for college football. We've seen a lot of this lately with wide receivers. Maybe you sign with a school like a Georgia and they don't throw the ball a ton. It's not necessarily, that pro style passing attack. So you're going to find yourself transferring to an Alabama or a Texas where they are throwing the ball around a lot more. And it helps you prepare for the next level. So I think players having that ability to say, you know what? Well, I made this decision when I was 17 years old. Maybe it's not the best one for my future. Let me find a situation that works for me. I think that's a really good thing for college football.
ESPN NFL draft analyst Matt Miller. Matt, thank you very much. Great visit.
You bet, guys. Thanks so much.
Good stuff.
All
Thanks,
right. Matt Miller. 877-377-6963. Quick break. This is the Chuck and Bo Show.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
But I want someone to slide into my DMs. It's just
I'm
a
not sure I'm
personal goal.
entirely comfortable with this.
It sounds appealing to me.
Flight by Yingling. It's the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass. Raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling and Son Incorporated. Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Ty Story, high school football coach and former college quarterback.
I love coaching, but it's a lot more fun after LASIK. Now when I'm coaching, I can focus on my players and not my eyes. After LASIK, my eyes are even better than before when I had glasses or wore contacts. The McDonald Eye Team was great. They put me at ease. I couldn't believe how well I was seeing the day after surgery. Good vision and good football go together. I'm really glad I trusted my eyes to McDonald Eye Associates.
See your best with safe and affordable LASIK from McDonald Eye Associates. Register for your free consultation at mcdonaldeye.com.
You know, for me, when it comes to finding the perfect diamond, there's just one name that stands above the rest in Northwest Arkansas. Blakeman's Fine Jewelry. As the region's premier experts for diamonds, Blakeman's offers an unparalleled selection of brilliant stones, handpicked for their quality and beauty. And they don't just help you find the perfect stone, they educate you every step of the way. So whether it's a proposal, celebrating an anniversary, or maybe just treating yourself, Blakeman's is where your search ends and your story begins.
Who's ready for some Arkansas Razorback football? Experience football game days on the Hill as the Hogs return to action for the Fayetteville home opener, Saturday, September 14th, 3:15 p.m. against UAB. Tickets are available online at arkansasrazorbacks.com or by calling the Hogs at 800-982-HOGS.
Oaklawn is your hot springs escape. Enjoy plush comfort, upscale dining, and Arkansas's only Forbes 4-star rated spa at our luxury hotel. And with easy access to Hot Springs National Park and sparkling lakes, Oaklawn is your home base for everything the region has to offer. Come stay, play, and get away at Oaklawn, a Forbes Travel Guide recommended hotel. Make your reservation at oaklawn.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
A great pair. Really honored that you guys are doing this, listening over here in Jonesboro.
Are you interested in saving money on your heating bills
Did you
and
say something?
upgrading
I'm
your
sorry.
home's energy efficiency? Now's the time. Installing or upgrading to natural gas allows you to take advantage of high-efficiency appliances that save energy and money. From furnaces to water heaters to gas dryers and fireplaces, there's a natural gas option to fit your home and your budget. What's not to love about that? Don't wait. Call AOG today at 800-842-5690 or visit AOGC.com to learn more. AOG, energy for life.
With everyday low prices on top brands, locally owned Jaeger's Ace Hardware is committed to offering real service with real savings. Get these red hot buys at any of our 4 locations. 5-gallon fruit trees, oak and maple trees, only $26.97. That's a savings of $9 per tree. Get a DeWalt 20-volt max brushed compact drill and impact driver kit with 2 batteries, carrying case, and bonus bit set for only $159 with your Ace Rewards card. Find more everyday low prices online at JaegersHardware.com.
The Wave Rural Connect Shoal Creek Zone is open. Fast fiber internet, TV, and home phone available. This covers Midway, New Blaine, Scranton, Delaware, and other areas. Even if this isn't your zone, check your address. We might be available for you. Get your whole home solution. Internet, TV, and phone from a local provider. Go to signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Good morning, Chuck and Bo. Love you, Chuck. Been listening to you dang near all my life calling games. Certainly excited about y'all's new show. I've listened every morning.
First Security Bank's the official bank of the Chuck and Bo Show. They've got all the great things you need to bank, but it's really about their people, and they're all in on local support and convenient locations to make it easier to bank better. Friendly local banking. Bank better with First Security Bank, fsbank.com, member FDIC. The Hog Trains in Bentonville on the Chuck and Bo Show. Good morning.
Hey, guys.
Thanks for taking my show. Born and raised in Arkansas. Remember being 14 years old whenever we won the national championship. My dad took me and my brother out, drove around Fort Smith, honking our horn all night. Found a little hut somebody had set up in front of Central Mall, bought the T-shirts, national champions. And, it's the way we lost the game. I don't think anybody expects us to come out against Oklahoma State on the road, totally dominate, shut down Gordon. It looked like we were tethered to their wide receivers. Our secondary looked incredible, ran all over the field on them. And then to let that game slip away it's different, and you talk about the 10-2, the close games we've had. And you mentioned it a minute ago. You said at the end of the game, the better teams would just go ahead and win the game. Well, we were the better team there, and we didn't make that happen. And it was just, it's just a different kind of loss to ride that kind of high at the beginning of the game. It's like, all right, let's go. And then to lose that ball game. But Sam Pittman in the press conference to talk about, well, we got to shore these things up. We can't turn the ball over. You had an entire off season to get that right with that talent, with that team to win that game. And then to not see the passion, to see him just sit there. We know what happened in the game. You're talking to the fans right there. You're looking for what's going to happen. And I just didn't see it with that guy, but it was the way we lost that game that got people where they are with this program and this coach. But thanks for taking my call.
I don't see the lack of passion. I mean, I understand being upset about the loss, and I understand being upset about the manner in which they lost, but I don't get the comment about the lack of passion on the part of the coach. I'll go back to something I said a little bit earlier, that you can't get a real feel for what a guy's thinking 15 minutes after a football game when he's not even really had time to decompress. They're just leading him from site to site.
Well, also, Chuck, if I could interject, it's not everybody's strength. Like head coaches some of them are great in front of a microphone. Some of them are just ball coaches. And I think Sam Pittman's great in front of a microphone, but I'm not sure Sam Pittman ever gets up in front of a fan base and tries to convince them of things. Like, he's not, like, he'll do that with his team or he'll talk to his team, but like how many things can we pick on somebody for? Like, the overall product looks better. They didn't win the game. Can we agree on those two things? Can we just agree that they lost the game and that stunk and they should have won the game? But also the overall product looks better. Can we bottom line it like that, or is that too much?
Well, I think you can bottom line it like that. Yes, they're better. They lost the game. It doesn't mean they're going to keep losing, and it doesn't mean that just because they're better, they're going to start winning. The things that cost them that game in Stillwater must be corrected before they play at Auburn and before they move on with the remainder of their schedule. But I don't think anybody who viewed that game with any sort of objectivity walks away thinking Arkansas is not a better team than they were a year ago. Now, we can debate on the coach. We can debate on everything. But I don't see how you can watch that game and not feel like Arkansas has got a better team than the others do, or at least they did last year. Hey, let me mention before we go, Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. We talked about the cool mornings when we began the show. We'll talk about the cool mornings as we end the show. Check out their plan protection program. They've got the price check program going on as well. Make sure you're ready for the fall. Preventative maintenance, pros, Arkansas owned. Schedule your appointment at gopascal.com.
Chuck, it's a home game week in Fayetteville.
Yeah, it's nice. I'm looking forward to that. No travel on Friday. It's like having an extra day.
Week 3, and you get to play a game on campus. Arkansas and UAB. It's 3:15 on Saturday on the SEC Network, as well as right here on the radio. Don't forget, like, as you're making dinner plans tonight, if you really want to enjoy yourself, you need an old school recliner and a TV dinner. It's National TV Dinner Day. Some people have no idea what I'm talking about.
Salisbury steak, baby.
Now, Salisbury steak. Does chicken pot pie count as like a TV dinner? Like,
absolutely.
I mean, hey, I just, sometimes it's hard for people to decide on dinner. I mean, not tonight. It's National TV Dinner Day. Hey, it's been fun today, Chuck. We'll do it again tomorrow.
All right. Thanks.
Chuck and Bo Show back at 6 a.m. The Morning Rush is coming up next.
I always enjoy talking about Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company. If you followed my radio career,